What up, everybody? Good morning and happy Wednesday to you all. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. A big thanks for tuning in wherever, however you're tuning in from, whether it's on these radio dials, 105.1 FM or 790 AM. Also, you can stream it up online, sportstalk1051.com. Got your Alexa devices. Say, Alexa, play WAYY. Video streams also up and rolling. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and download that app and tag it wherever you're at. But a happy Wednesday, depending on where you're at. Maybe a rainy, wet start to your Wednesday this morning. What do we got on our game plan halfway through the work week before Memorial Day weekend is upon us? Hey, Brewers, that's what we call a dang winning streak. Winning another one last night. That's 3 in a row. All right. Way to go. You could do it. 5-2 victory last night for the Brewers over Baltimore. Logan Henderson, 3 starts, 3 wins. Logan Henderson is a dude. He is a dude right now. Just the 10th pitcher. How about this for a fun stat and nugget? Just the 10th pitcher since 1901. We're going back 100 plus years to strike out 7 or more batters in each of his first 3 career major league outings. And he is the first Brewer to do that. First Brewer to do that in Brewers history. So Logan Henderson is off to a fantastic start. No way, Jose. No way whatsoever. I don't care if guys are coming back healthy and that. Can you send down Logan Henderson to the minor leagues? The way he's playing right now, no, you better not do that. I don't care about options and the number of options and such. This is a guy who's pitching at an incredibly high level. You keep this man in your lineup. You absolutely keep this man in your starting rotation, for crying out loud. So, but his final line last night, 5 innings, just giving up 2 hits, 7 Ks, couple walks, no earned runs, 3-0 on the season with a 1.69 ERA. Sal Frelick picking up a home run last night. Rhys Hoskins picking up a home run. Bryce Terang got the scoring going in the bottom of the 3rd with the solo shots as well. So, I mean, the 3 offensive guys that have actually been maybe the most consistent throughout the majority part of the season, or especially as of late, were the 3 guys at homer last night. So if you had Rhys, Terang, and Frelick on your home run bingo card last night, cash in, baby. So, but man, another Sal Frelick appreciation. The more I watch that guy play, more I listen to that guy play, I just love watching that guy play. So, but Brewers will try to go for the sweep today, later on today, a few hours from now. First pitch going to be around 12:10. Chad Patrick on the mound for the Crew. With a win today, the Brewers will get back to 500. Brewers still 5 games behind the Cubs for first place in the division. Still 4th in the division. Half game behind Cincy for 3rd. 3 games behind the Cardinals for 2nd in the division. And we'll preview this matchup, lineups going up against starting pitching and such coming up here in just a little bit. So Brewers talk coming at you here this morning. We'll throw a little hoops chat in here. T-Wolves falling. They jumped out to a first half lead, but Thunder turning it on in the second half and able to pick up the W to take game 1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves last night in the Western Conference Finals. But we'll talk a little Giannis updates and such out there. I mean, there was Sam Amick from The Athletic talk a little bit about potential Giannis trades and such. And Sam, one of his quotes said, they want every scenario, talking about the Bucks and talking about John Horst. They want every scenario to gut the other team. And John Horst is going to go for blood here. I'm telling you. He just got a new extension. He has the organization's backing. John is not going to try to be on good terms with Giannis. He's trying to do right by the Bucks. And that means that if every scenario in play leaves the other team so gutted that Giannis might not actually be in that much of a better situation, then maybe that's where he looks at the room and says, all right, let me stay put. John Horst absolutely 110% should flip and do that. He absolutely should be doing that. I hope he's doing that, for crying out loud. I mean, if he's taking phone calls, if he's talking to teams, I don't know if he is or not, but if I'm sure teams are inquiring him, you ask for the roof and you ask for everything and your unborn child. I mean, everything that would gut that other team. Don't just play nice and settle for that. And remember, the thing is too, like, Bucks aren't necessarily tanking. They don't have their own picks to tank, for crying out loud. Because they traded so many first-round picks over the years. They're not really in a position, hey, okay, we're going to tank for a couple years just to get higher picks. They don't have their picks. So, I mean, they're still kind of in this window like, all right, we don't have our own picks, so we might as well still try to be competitive, right? I mean, I would think that's got to be the mindset. But we'll hit that up and get you some more updates, rumors, reports, smoke and fire, whatever else you want to call it here, coming up here in just a little bit. So we'll throw some Bucks chat in here to get the juices flowing here. Also, we'll find out today whether the tush push is banned. I'm going to leave the post glass and mirror 715 speaks poll question up for another day to kind of get your feedback in that. But I posted it up last night on the Sports Talk Facebook and X pages. We're going to find out today if it's going to get banned. That sure seems to be the path in this thing. So I put up a poll question last night. If you haven't had a chance to vote, go to Facebook, follow the Facebook page, follow the Twitter page, X page over there. Should the NFL ban the tush push? And right now, at least on the Facebook poll, let me bring up both of them here really quickly. But on the Facebook one, even with the Packers being the team that's out there, throwing it out there as a possibility, 58% of you on Facebook say, And right now on Twitter, it's 50%. So it's close. It's close, but we'll see if the NFL actually does it today. But with, speaking of green and gold, kind of want to throw a question out to you all to get you thinking. So we've been talking about, obviously with the offseason and the draft a couple weeks ago, and the optimism and that's what comes with every team with their draft and such, and new players, fancy players, rookies coming in and all that. But, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer in this whole thing, but let's take it from the opposite side, a different approach, because I want to get you thinking about this here for a little bit. Which Packers player, we've pointed out players like, okay, this is a dude that's got to, have a breakout year. We pointed that out. Like this has got to be a guy that's got to be, he's got to stand up. This is the guy. Pressure's on him. Spotlight's on him. He's got to have that jump this year. Let's do a little 180 though. Who's the player, or maybe players, that you think we're putting too much stock in terms of, like, maybe we're just like, oh yeah, that guy's gonna be fine. That dude's gonna be good this year. We're good. We're fine. He's good. No worries about him. Is there a player that we're maybe like putting a little too many eggs in one basket for him, and maybe we should be taking away some of those eggs and be like, all right, let's pump the brakes here a little bit. Let's just back off the throttle here a little bit. Don't want to put too much on, don't want to assume too much with this player. Is there a player that you think that maybe it's like, hey, I don't get, or maybe I'm not on that bandwagon or on that train quite yet. Like, okay, that guy's going to be a stud this year. Because we've talked so much about players who have to make that year 3 jump, or players that have to make that jump in year 2 of this defense, or, Jordan Love entering this year. Okay, let's see the consistency. We've talked about those certain players. And we've talked about guys who need to make that leap. But is there a player or players that you feel like, and it's just an opinion, but that you feel like, you know what? I'm not really on the bandwagon of that player. I'm not really sold on that guy's, going to be like this stud or going to have a really good year that maybe a lot of other people feel like he's going to. So think about that for a little bit. Hit me up. Shoot me with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or hit me up on the socials at DANKSPR, or comment on the video streams if you'd like over there too. So I was thinking about that last night. I'm like, is there a guy, is there a player that we're putting too much stock in? Just, assuming too much? So stock reports. Speaking of stocks, we'll do some stock reports coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Whose stock is rising? Whose stock is falling? You could play along and make your picks by letting us know who your stock risers and stock fallers are. Mentioned that the T-Wolves falling in game 1 of the Western Conference Finals last night. We also had some hockey, NHL, Stanley Cup playoffs going on. Panthers of Florida picking up a 5-2 victory over Carolina too. So Twins wise, we're not that far, right? So probably no surprise they weren't able to get any of their games in yesterday. They're going to try today. Still going to try to finish that first game from Monday that was suspended. Try to finish that up and try to get another one going here too. So we'll see. We could, if you're in our area, Eau Claire, you can look out the window right now and see what the weather's like. So, but we'll see if it plays out. But let's get things going here this morning. All right, let's hit it up. And whatever else is on your mind. All right, you can let me know. You can let me know. So, if there's another topic you want to talk about, let me know. I'm open. But let's talk some Brewers. All right, picking up a win. That's what we call a winning streak. 3 in a row. They have secured a series win against Baltimore. But let's get the sweep. All right. Let's get the sweep. Let's get the 500 before we start this 4-game road trip to Pittsburgh that we better win that series too. Let's get a sweep. I don't want to just settle for a series win. I want a sweep. Can they do it tonight? We'll preview that and then recap Logan Henderson's night last night too. So Brewers talk, baseball talk coming up after we take our first break and kick off the leadoff in just a few minutes.
Brewing grains. Choose from flavors like Tuscan Pesto, Meathead, and more. Or create your own with gluten-free and vegan options. Bloomer Brewing Company has something for everyone. Complement your meal with their variety of beers or seltzers. Visit them in Bloomer and downtown Eau Claire or online at bloomerbrewingco.com. Bloomer Brewing Company. Every brew has a story. Let's hear yours.
Create the yard of your dreams with help from Menards. Give your lawn a professional-grade look with Pennington Contractors Mix. It contains a mix of grass seed that covers up to 8,000 square feet, providing your lawn with quick, lush, professional-grade results. Save big money on Pennington Contractors Mixes now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Broadcasting live from the TDS Sports Talk 105.1 studios, it's the Dan Kasper Show.
When it comes to orthopedic care, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here for you. Their team of specialists provides comprehensive services, including joint replacements, sports medicine, pain management, and spine care. Whether you're recovering from an injury or managing chronic pain, they offer personalized treatment plans to help you get back to the activities that you love. Just visit cvosm.com to schedule your appointment. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, your partner in recovery. Hey, also, don't forget, if you missed it yesterday, but we are less than a week away from opening day for the Eau Claire Express. So we kicked off our Express Tuesdays, which means another season of the All Aboard Eau Claire Express podcast is up. New episode up, posted yesterday. So if you want to check that out, obviously it's been a very busy off season for the Eau Claire Express with new logo. Got the new video board out there at Carson Park too. So excited to begin another Express season. And next Friday, May 30th, Sports Talk night at the Eau Claire Express game. So hopefully we'll get a lot of you out there at the ballpark. And next Friday morning with our friends at High V, we're going to be doing a show from High V. And we're going to do a little sports drive. Where if you've got some new or gently used sports equipment, we're looking for new, like baseballs, basketballs though too. So if you got like a basketball or a baseball in that we're looking for new. So if you got a tennis ball that the dog's been using for a while, we're not looking for that. But we're taking your sports equipment, and that's going to actually start on Monday at High V. So if you go to the service desk and drop off some gently used or new sports equipment, you're going to get tickets, up to 5 tickets for that Express game next Friday nights. So that way we can get some sports equipment in the hands of those who maybe need some sports equipment and such. So big thanks to High V and a big thanks to our friends at the Express for doing that. But next Friday, we're going to be over at High V doing the program, and some of the players are going to be over there too. So do a little meet and greet and such if you want to meet some of the players. They'll be coming back from lacrosse, I believe. Yep, lacrosse the night before, playing against the Loggers. So should be a lot of fun next Friday, May 30th at High V in Eau Claire. All right, a couple of texts here. Jeremy says, one of the guys I think people have too much stock in is Marshawn Lloyd. I know it's only a year, but dude couldn't play last year. And back in college, had fumbling issues. C-Bomb saying it's embarrassing that the Packers would push to ban the tush push. If you don't like it, stop them, or better yet, don't let them get less than a yard away from the goal line or the first down. I do think the NFL needs to crack down on the Eagles lining up with the center's head over the ball and guys in the neutral zone, but don't take a play away from a team because nobody else can stop it. Well, it is. Let's be fair here. There is no question about it. The Packers are not in favor of the tush push. We know that. but they're not the only ones. I mean, 16 other teams voted for this. Half the league voted for this in the first vote, and it's trending towards that it's going to be banned. So it's not just Green Bay. And it's been widely reported, too, that maybe Green Bay was kind of the sacrificial lamb because they don't have an owner, and it kind of saves a lot of owners' face, gutless owners, from putting their name to introducing this ban. That's been widely reported out there. So, but yes, Green Bay is not in favor of it. They've come out and said it, but let's not pretend that they're the only team. And maybe, just maybe, it's a good chance that Green Bay was used as that team for a lot of teams because they don't really necessarily have to put a face to it. An owner doesn't have to go out there on a pedestal and put his or her name out there and maybe get that ridicule that a lot of fans like C-Bomb are having on it. So let's not pretend that Green Bay is the only one out there. At least half the team, if not more, of the teams out there. I feel like eventually it is going to get banned. It will get banned. So maybe it will today. We'll find out. So, baseball-wise, though, let's talk a little Brewers here. Brewers picking up a W last night against the Baltimore Orioles. That's what we call a winning streak. Now we have won 3 in a row. All right. See, you can do it, Brewers. You can do it. But let's begin with Logan Henderson because that guy is a dude last night picking up another win. 3 straight starts for Logan Henderson. 3 straight wins. And as Kurt Hogg said from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, this is a fantastic little stat and nugget. Logan Henderson is the 10th pitcher since 1901 to strike out 7 or more batters in each of his first 3 career major league outings. And the first to do it in Brewers history. Think about that. Since 1901, we're talking about over 100 flipping years ago. Just the 10th pitcher to strike out 7 or more batters in each of his first 3 career major league outings. This guy's a dude. And there's absolutely no way. I don't care if everybody all of a sudden gets healthy in that starting pitching staff. You do not take Logan Henderson out of this rotation. You don't. I don't care about playing the whole option game. Well, this guy's got options left. This guy doesn't. We're going to kind of play. This guy, you ride with the hot hand. And right now, he's one of your better starting pitchers. Small, incredibly small sample size, I understand it. But right now, for a team that is desperate to get something going here and to get back into those standings, you keep this man in your rotation. You keep him in there. I don't care if Aaron Savali's coming back soon and he's healthy. I don't care if Nestor Cortes, I don't even know when Nestor Cortes is coming back. I don't care about that stuff. You keep Logan Henderson in this rotation because right now he is one of your better starting pitchers. I mean, the kid's been impressive. There's no question about it. Kid has been absolutely impressive so far. I mean, he started off the game last night with, 7, 8 whiffs in the first inning. The first inning last night. Pretty special. He's doing some special things. So he's improved to 3-0 on the season. 1.69 ERA. And if you had it on your scorecard last night, your bingo card or whatever, lottery, whatever you want to call it, that home runs would come from Sal Frelick, Bryce Terang, and Rhys Hoskins. Well, then you've been watching some baseball. You've been watching some Brewers lately because it's fair to say that those guys have been your most consistent offensive producers so far, a big chunk of the season. Terang with a solo shot in third. Sal Frelick with a home run that I think gave us all impressions that looked exactly like his home run in the playoffs against the Mets. And then Rhys Hoskins with his 6th homer. Hoskins, 2 hits. Terang, 2 hits. Frelick getting that home run with a couple RBIs. He also got on base twice via the walk. So, I mean, you're talking about those 3 guys of the total 7 hits from this team last night. 5 came from those 3 guys. Frelick, who's hitting 282 with a 770 OPS this year. Terang, 297 with a 762 OPS. Hoskins, 297 with an 885 OPS. It's been those three that have been the most consistent. And then finally, Cheerio, getting off the schneid last night, finally collecting a hit. But, man, Yelich can't buy a hit. I mean, now you're talking about a guy who's 190 with a 616 OPS. And what does that say, too? You know, this has been a team that has been dealing with some injuries to the outfield where, you know, you had Bowers getting time. Now it's Collins getting out there in left field. What does that say that they aren't throwing Yelich out there in left field? I know Yelich wants to play in the field. He's talked about that. But I think that's an indicator that maybe there's still something going on with that back, that he's still not up there, that he's still not comfortable, for the fact that they won't even play him out in left field when they could use some depth over there in left field. I think that says something. But it's been disappointing, and that may be putting it lightly so far on Christian Yelich. I mean, 7 home runs, that's you know, obviously up there tied for team lead in that. But you look at what he has done in his last 57 at-bats here, for crying out loud. You're talking about a 158 batting average, a 213 on-base percentage, a 281 slugging percentage. That's atrocious. Hell, you want to break it down in his last 27 at-bats? 0-7-4. 0-7-4. That's his average and slugging. His on-base is a 138. What is going on with Christian Yelich? You watch him at the plate, there's just like no confidence coming from the guy. Just nothing. You could even see it when he's, you know, hits a little grounder, he gets thrown out, the head's down, trots off to the dugout. There's just nothing. He's played just 6 games at left field so far this year, too. When was the last time you played left field? Let me see if I can bring that up here in a whim. But it's been mostly the DH. Let me see if I can bring it up here quick. Where's Surveyor so I could get my producer on here. But even with those injuries to the outfield, where they've been throwing Bowers and Isaac Collins getting starts, just think, I mean, the fact that they're still putting him at DH, he's got to be still dealing with something with that back. There's got to be something still going on. Let me see if I can. How many? Okay, so yeah, 6 games he's played in the outfield. 6. Started 6. That's it. Whew. There has to be. There has to be. It's so frustrating. And again, there's nobody. We're frustrated as fans. We're upset. We're annoyed. We're disappointed. There's nobody in the world that's probably more disappointed, though, than Christian Yelich right now. There's probably nobody in the world that is more, and I would hope that there's nobody more irritated, frustrated with his game than himself. Especially when you look at last year with the way that he started off. Heading into the All-Star break as a starter, hitting over 300. Double-digit home runs. It's like, all right, here we go, baby. Yeah, right, all right, here we go. And then shortly after the All-Star break, he's done for the year. And then we're back. Maybe even worse than what it was so far from what it was a few years ago. But something's got to be going on with Yelly. Today's game where the Brewers will try to go for the sweep. They secured the series win. Awesome, but I want a sweep. I want a dang sweep. Okay? I want more. I want some brooms out. I want some cleaning. I want some sweeping up some of the dust and some of the bad juju that's been out there. Can Chad Patrick do that? Chad Patrick's coming off a loss against the Twins where he went 6 innings, 3 earned runs. I mean, still not bad over there, right? Tampa Bay before that on the 11th where he went 4 1/3, giving up 2 earned runs. Houston, he picked up a win against them on the 6th where he went 6 2/3 and 3 earned runs. So Chad Patrick getting his 10th start of the season, appearing in his 11th game so far. And then you've got Suganov going for the Orioles. He's coming off of a loss against Minnesota where he went 6 1/3 and 4 earned runs. Before that, a win against the Angels back in the 9th where he went 7 1/3, giving up 1 earned run, and then a loss against the Royals, but again, didn't pitch like a losing pitcher. 6 innings, 2 earned runs. So I feel like they may have to get after this guy early. This is a guy, when you look at his last few starts, he's gone a little over 6 innings, not giving up a ton of runs besides, I mean, Minnesota gave up 4 earned runs here, but might be a guy that you try to attack early. Try to get after him early. And you look at his month of April, he was 3-0 with a 2.79 ERA. There's not been a lot of bright spots when it's come to Baltimore this year. He may be one of the fewer bright spots of this team. A little bit of a slower start to the month of May, but so far 1-2 with a 3.20 ERA. So offense better come ready here in just a few hours with first pitch at 12:10. Attack this guy. Might have to be aggressive with him. And this is a guy who has pitched at least 7 innings multiple times so far this season. You might want to try to get to that pen. Try to be aggressive and going after him. The most runs he's allowed in a single game was his previous game against the Twins where he gave up 4. Other than that, you're talking about 2s, 3s, 0s, and 1s when you're looking at his game logs. So the offense better come to play. All right, let's take a quick break. Your thoughts on the Brewers? Got anything else out there? We're looking. We'll talk a little grit of gold here too. Who's the player or players that you think maybe some fans or some people are just putting a little too much stock in? You know, we've talked about guys that definitely have to have that year 3 jump or definitely entering a big year this year. They got to step up and, you know, they're under the spotlight or whatever. But maybe let's do a little bit of a 180. Who do you think is like, you know what? I can't get on that train. I can't get on that bandwagon right now. Everybody's excited about this player, like, or just they're putting a lot of eggs in this guy's basket, and I don't know if I can do it right now. Is there a player or players where you're thinking like, I don't know. Hit me up with those, all right? We'll be back to finish up the first hour after these few words.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
Get ready to save with half-off deals. A great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Get ready to save with half-off deals. A great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
When you're in the business of building the future, why rely on yesterday's internet technology? 100% fiber internet from TDS is engineered to handle industrial strength demands with turbocharged symmetrical speeds and 99.9% network reliability. Get internet that keeps your business light years ahead. Upgrade to cable-crushing TDS fiber internet. Strong enough for your business, strong enough for you. Learn more at tdsbusiness.com. Internet speeds are up to and not guaranteed. Subject to availability. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Are you looking for great food, cold drinks, and a welcoming atmosphere? Then get on over to the VFW Post 305. They offer amazing menu items from breakfast to their famous fish fry and a full bar with a friendly staff. Plus, you can enjoy weekly events and live music performances. And it's that perfect time of year to enjoy that view of Dell's Pond from the VFW Post 305. So what are you waiting for? I'll see you at the VFW Post 305 located on Star Avenue.
Save big on everything for your appliance upgrade when you shop at Menards. You need reliable and energy-efficient appliances to conquer the day. Menards is your one-stop shop with the largest in-stock appliance selection ready to take home today. Check out our top appliance brands, including KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Maytag, Amana, and Criterion. Save big money on all appliances at Menards and check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WOW25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WOW25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WOW25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code WOW25.
Backyard Dreams wants to help children in our area accomplish their dreams and passions. Do you want to help make a difference? Visit sportstalk1051.com for more details.
Since 1952, AJM Automotive Services has been Eau Claire's go-to for honest, reliable auto care. From oil changes and brake work to full engine repairs, tires, and even towing, their experienced team does it all with integrity and no upselling. And hey, since it's lawn mowing season, whether you participate in No Mow May or whatever, eventually you're going to be mowing the lawn. You have to. If you need that rider, you need that lawnmower service, get it tuned up. They can help you out there as well. So give AJM Automotive a visit today, 1919. That's 1919 Brackett Avenue in Eau Claire. Couple of messages on the video stream. What up? Living a dream, Jeff. Dude, I've been wondering where you've been. Where have you been? Yeah, I mean, now you're going to the video streams, Jeff. You're not using the texting line over there. I've been wondering if everything's all on the up and up. Sort of thing. So good to hear from you, living a dream, Jeff. But Jeff says have to agree or have to disagree with Seabaum. If they keep the tush push, allow the defense to push the defensive lineman as well. Favors the offense since the rule against the defense, since the rule against the defense from doing that back in the day. Joe says still no Yelich, not in the conversation because he does nothing. So. Who is the Packers player that is maybe, I don't know, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer in this sort of thing, but obviously we're at that point in time, after the draft, there's a lot of optimism, there's a lot of, how do I want to say this? We're all giddy, we're all excited about new players coming in, free rookies and such, excited about the potential of it all, and we've also talked about, okay, this has got to be a guy that has got to step up this year. I mean, Lucas Van Ness is probably, number one on that list for a lot of people. Kenny Clark, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We did this, earlier this week. But if we did a quick 180 on it all, is there a player or players that you feel like, you know what, man? I just feel like there's too many fans, too many people just assuming that this guy's going to be a stud this year, that he's going to be great, or they're just putting a lot of eggs in their basket on him, and I'm a little bit nervous about that. I'm a little apprehensive about that. We did have a couple people chime in on Marshawn Lloyd, which I think that's a fair one. There is a little bit of an unknown part to it. And yes, I have seen, a lot of at least social media posts out there that, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Marshawn Lloyd's healthy. He's going to be electric this year. He's going to be awesome this year. My question would be, okay, I love the optimism. I love it. I'm here for it. The cat is like, how much playing time is the guy actually going to get when you got Josh Jacobs on that field too? Josh Jacobs kind of a bell cow back. I mean, I don't see them going 50-50, 60-40 even with Josh Jacobs. So it's like, okay, I love the optimism in that, but how much playing time is the guy actually going to get? You know what I mean? So, I was trying to think of some other players and such, and I'm going to say it. I'm a little skeptical, maybe, apprehensive, not quite sure. I guess I want to see more of it. I want to see more of a sample size of it. I'm a little nervous about Keyshawn Nixon if he is CB number one. I'm a little bit nervous on that. Yes, we got to see it a little bit last year. So I don't know if I'm ready to crown him as CB number one. I know I'm not. I'll just say it. I'm not ready to crown him as cornerback number one. And if Jair's playing this year, he's not going to be cornerback one. But, Keyshawn wants to be quarterback number one or cornerback number one. I'm not ready to go there. And I'm not ready to put all my eggs in that basket. I'm still nervous about the cornerback depth. Okay, Jair comes back. Cool. Answer some questions there. Keyshawn, Carrington. Then you got Hobbs. Okay. But he's dealt with some injury history too. So I throw Keyshawn in there just because maybe I want to see it a little bit more. And I want to see him, okay, if he is CB number one, this is going to be an amazing test to see if he can be that guy this year when you look at this schedule. Because you look at some of the receivers that he's going to be matched up against if he is cornerback number one. I mean, and again, we'll see. This is assuming everybody's healthy at the time they would play. Okay, Lions. Is it going to be Jameson Williams? It's going to be Amon St. Brown. Commanders, Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin. Browns, you got Jerry Jeudy. Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb. George Pickens. Bengals, Jamar Chase. T. Higgins. Cardinals, you throw in Marvin Harrison Jr. Steelers, DK Metcalf. Eagles, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Giants, Malik Neighbors. Vikings, J.J. Bears, you throw in Rome Odunze. Still got DJ Moore. Ravens, you throw in what is it? Flowers. I mean, got a couple options over there. So I mean, this is going to be if Keyshawn Nixon really believes that he could be corner number one. Here we go. Buckle up. Get that chin strap ready and make sure those legs are nice and ready to go because you're going to be put to the test. Will you be able to pass that one? So that to me is probably the guy that I'm not ready to put all of my stock into him being CB number one. I got to see it a little bit more. I have to see a little bit more of a sample size on that. Because I think about some of these receivers too, and it's like, okay, Keyshawn's not, he's quick, obviously, with his return ability and such. We've seen that. I mean, he's an all-pro now. But I mean, going up against guys like JJ and Jamar and that, can he hang with them? I want to, not just for a couple snaps here or there, but for a game. All right, for a game. So I'd throw him in there. I'm thinking about some of the other guys, on this roster. I mean, I'm sure some people are going to say Jordan Love. I do think this is a year that we want to see, and we talked about it earlier in the week. Yeah, I think this is a big year for Jordan Love. Year 3, year 1, a little bit of a slower starts. Really picked it up, was hot down the stretch into the postseason. Last year, marred with injuries. Did it affect his play in that? So I think year 3, is a big year for Jordan Love. But I don't think I'd put him in the category that I'm not on that bandwagon. I wouldn't put him in there. I'm willing to put some extra chips in the middle for him and put some extra eggs in the basket for Love. I could get the Marshawn Lloyd one. I understand that one. Maybe a little bit with the Jordan Morgan too. If he is in that battle for left tackle with Walker, just because we've seen a bigger sample size with Walker, and we haven't seen a ton with Jordan Morgan. And I don't know if there's anybody really that's out there, saying, "Oh yeah, Jordan Morgan locked starting left tackle for the next 10 years." I don't think anybody's necessarily going out there and saying that. But other than that, I mean, I'm probably, Keyshawn. Am I missing anybody here? I'm just trying to do the roster through my head here a little bit. Wide receivers is such an interesting one because I don't think we are really crowning anyone as a number one, although Jaden Reed is kind of, trending in that direction. But I mean, he's not a number one. Hopefully he develops into a guy like this, but he's not a number one like a Jamar or a JJ or even, some of those other guys that you would think as a legit number one wide receiver. So I don't think anybody's really, at least from what I've seen, I don't think there's really anybody that's putting like, oh yeah, Jaden Reed, number one, dude's up there with the guys that I just mentioned. You look at, okay, Matthew Golden, is anybody really putting in a ton of eggs in that basket? We're like, oh yeah, legit number one, here we go. I don't know if anybody's really doing that. So the wide receiver one's a little bit tough. Maybe a little bit. I think there's this expectation for Luke Musgrave this year to take a jump, but he's still tight end number 2 behind Tucker Kraft. I think we just want to see more from Tucker Kraft this year. So then the question's like, okay, is there going to be enough to go around then when it comes to Lucas Musgrave? So, I'm just kind of going through some of the other guys. Is it linebackers? You got Cooper, you got Quay Walker. Maybe for some it's Quay Walker, because you hear guys like Xavier McKinney, sing the praises and say that could be one of that guy has the potential to be the best linebacker in all of football. Obviously, the coaching staff in the front office love him, but I think there is a difference of opinion amongst his teammates and coaches compared to fans. I think there's a divide on that. So maybe for some fans, there's like, yeah, I'm not on the Quay Walker wagon. His teammates and coaches in the front office are, but as a fan, I think there's that divide. There's that line for quite a few. So that would probably be one. I'm on that. I'm really close to that one too, because Quay Walker, to me, I struggle with because he's got the athleticism. I think he could be a really good football player. It's just, I still wonder, is he best suited to play middle linebacker? I feel like he's a guy that just has to go out there and play and stop thinking so much at times. Let me know some other guys. Let me know some other players. All right. We'll finish up second hour with Morgs here. Good morning, Morgs.
Hey, Kasper, what's the good word?
I got nothing.
I think you bring up a good point between the fan and coaches divide with some players. Like, who do you think was always a player favorite and not a fan favorite for like the Packers, like an accessible, familiar team to us?
So a player that the coaches or the teammates really liked, but maybe not the.
But they never translated to the stands. And then vice versa. Who did fans love that maybe you got the impression that it wasn't necessarily a coaching hit?
Jeff Giannis is probably the first one I would think of that fans loved and were all gaga about, but didn't get a ton of playing time and maybe wasn't up there for coaches and such. So
okay. What about the opposite? Somebody that felt forced, where it's like, I used to feel this way about in a different arena. Scrubs, because they put Scrubs on all the time, the TV show.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop force feeding us Scrubs. Everywhere you flip the channels to, it was Scrubs. I'm like, I don't feel like watching this. Why is it everywhere?
People probably feel that way with The Office.
It could be that way with The Office. So do you feel like there were players like that they were kind of force feeding that never really translated to fandom?
There's got to be that I'm blanking on right now. There's got to be like those guys that they just kept playing and playing and playing. And it's like, why? Oh, Royce Newman.
Okay.
He's an offensive lineman. I'd throw him into that conversation. So a little bit more of a recent one. But
do you think it's a phenomenon now across professional sports to do that because you can multi-advertise, like the Kelsey brothers or something like that? Do you think that it's becoming more of almost like a Hollywood production versus a sports and skill game?
Could be.
And what do you think of that shift?
I could give or take with that one.
See, I think sports stay sports.
Yeah.
I don't like the glamorization and the Hollywood land mentality where it's like, just get out there and get gritty and play ball, and less about the
gritty
showmanship.
as in the gritty?
Not the gritty. As in actually get dirty in the mud.
See?
And throw it out.
Yeah. But
Wednesday wild card, though, aside from sports questions, we're going to pull from the rando list. Pick a number between 1 and 20.
We'll go 17, and we got about 30 seconds.
What is an essential part of your daily routine?
Coffee.
Every day, no matter what?
Every day.
All day long or only in the morning?
Morning. Once in a while in the afternoon if it's on the weekend.
What's your cutoff? Time-wise.
See, caffeine doesn't affect me at night.
It doesn't?
No.
You're one of those people that can drink it?
Mm-hmm.
The people that can drink caffeine, and then the people that never get hungover are on my S list. That's not fair.
I've never heard of somebody who doesn't get hungover. I've heard of people saying they can't, but I've yet to see it actually in person.
Oh, you think they're liars?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Okay. That seems more accurate.
Yeah.
Because in this day and age, in 2025, with all of the technology we have, we don't have something that can wipe a hangover out. Come on, science.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. From the 715 Newsroom, it's your news done differently with Morgan McCarthy.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're learning today. An update from a story that was unfolding yesterday. As we now know, authorities say 2 UW-Platteville students who died Monday had suffered gunshot wounds. 22-year-old Kelsey Martin and 22-year-old Haley Helms discovered in a room at a residence hall on campus at UW-Platteville. It happened that Helms was found dead at the scene of a self-inflicted wound, while Martin was taken from the scene to a UW hospital where she was later pronounced dead. An investigation into that incident is ongoing. In headlines nearer to us, former Eau Claire County Treasurer Larry Logan is being ordered not to leave the state. He was sentenced in 2015 after being convicted on charges that he and an assistant took part in a theft of $1.3 million from the county. He's due to be released from custody next month, had hoped to move out of the state. He was told yesterday he does not have permission to leave Wisconsin, but can petition again for permission at a later date. Meanwhile, in St. Croix County, the sheriff sheriff's office there is investigating 2 people who were found dead in Springfield Township. Officers were performing a welfare check earlier in the week to find the bodies of an adult male and adult female. A firearm also discovered at the scene. Reports say the victims did know each other. Well, somebody takes a wrong turn in Chippewa County when it comes to making choices. Reports that road signs are being stolen are now coming out of Sheriff Hake's office, as he said that there was a stop sign that had been cut down during overnight hours and a number of similar reports of other road signs being taken as well. You can find the full press release online. If you have any information, you're asked to take that to authorities. Make the stop at 715newsroom.com. And can I get you a drink to start you off? It's National Waitstaff Day.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics says there are about 2.5 million waitstaff working in the U.S., and it takes skill to be good at it. Waitstaff knows the ever-changing specials. They take your order and they bring you stuff. They know timing to get to you when your mouth isn't full of food, anticipate needs, and do it with a smile, all for the payoff at the end, the tip. Today, show a little extra love in that department. I'm Bree Tennis.
And I hate to point this out, but when it comes to these digs on Casper every day, the struggle is real.
And it takes skill to be good at it.
And I admit, I don't always nail it, but I try. And most of all, I
do it with a smile.
And that's not only because I love my job, but because I know when it comes to the news, so many of us just wait
for the payoff at the end.
Which reminds me, we got a memo from the boss. So Casper has been whining all week because nobody's giving enough attention. Everybody else gets more attention. So now to make him happy, the boss says we have to
show a little extra love in that department.
For Sports Talk 105.1, I'm Morgan McCarthy.
No changes to our weather this morning as we continue to track scattered rain showers in the area. Temperatures are holding steady in the 40s. You will want to make sure to have that rain gear on hand today. We are looking at on and off showers, some areas of drizzle. Cloudy skies are expected. A light breeze are high in the low 50s. For tonight, an early shower gives way to mainly cloudy skies, a low of 41. Some sun tomorrow, mid 60s. I'm 13 First Alert meteorologist Derek Tolman.
Save big on your landscaping project at Menards. We're your destination for concrete landscaping blocks. Whether you're installing a patio or adding a new retaining wall, we have the largest in-stock selection ready to take home today. Plus, get free estimates fast using our landscape design program in-store or on Menards.com. Save big on landscape blocks when you shop at Menards. And check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Rocket.com is a single, seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and even refinance your home. Get started today at Rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports aficionados and armchair quarterbacks, welcome to the Dan Kasper Show, where sports passion meets expert analysis. Dan's encyclopedic knowledge and infectious passion for all things sports is both impressive and sad.
I have many leather-bound books.
So get ready to laugh, cheer, and maybe even facepalm a few times.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
It's the Dan Kasper Show.
Second hour kicking off on this Wednesday morning. A big thanks for making us a part of your start here. We'll get back to some more baseball talk coming up here in just a little bit as the Brewers will try to go for the sweep against Baltimore in just a few hours from now. 12:10 first pitch. You can catch it on the radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Chad Patrick on the mound for the Crew today before the Brewers leave town and begin a 4-game series with the lowly Pittsburgh Pirates. So we'll get back to that. We'll get back to some more baseball talk and some Brewers chats coming up here in just a little bit. Don't forget, stock reports are due. Whose stock is rising, whose stock is falling. You can make your picks by hitting us up with a text, 715-830-1912. Visit the video streams where we got Joe and Jeff over there too, or hit us up on the socials. You can let us know with your stock reports whose stocks are rising and whose stocks are falling. Hoops-wise, T-Wolves falling last night. Thunder coming back in the second half and laying down the defensive hammer. Thunder picking up a Game 1 victory over over the T-Wolves. So also Stanley Cup playoffs continuing last night. The Panthers of Carolina. No, not the Panthers of Carolina. Geez, that's Carolina Hurricanes and Florida Panthers. Dan, figure it out. Florida Panthers picking up a win over Carolina last night to take game 1 of that series. So we'll hit those up as well and pick some more games coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Speaking of hoops wise, not really a Giannis update as such, but the other day, Sam Amick from The Athletic, he was talking about a potential trade scenario for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, we know, allegedly, reportedly, the Bucks and Giannis are supposed to be meeting this week, if they haven't already met this week, to figure out their future and such. But as Sam Amick said on The Athletic, talking about a potential trade and, maybe kind of the mindset of where John Horst, the Bucks general manager, is at and such. Sam had to say, quote, like they want every scenario to gut the other team, and John Horst is going to go for blood here. I'm telling you, he just got a new extension. He has the organization's backing. John is not going to just try to be on good terms with Giannis. He's trying to do right by the Bucks, and that means that if every scenario in play leaves the other team so gutted that Giannis might not actually be in that much of a better situation, then maybe that's where he looks at the room and says, all right, let me stay put. Which I think John Horst should absolutely do that. He should 100% absolutely do that. Because remember, I think the caveat, or not a caveat, but a key to a lot of this trade talk, this trade rumors, rumblings, whatever the heck you want to call it, so with Giannis, whether you believe it or not, remember the key thing here is the Bucks really aren't in tanking mode because they don't have any of their picks. So it's not like they could tank and increase their lottery chances to get a high pick because they don't have any of their own picks. So if they make a deal for Giannis and such, they're going to want players that, one, can help contribute right away, but also high draft picks from other teams because they don't have their own picks where they could tank and get a high pick here. That's what makes this kind of a unique situation when it comes to the Bucks. If they are in fact serious, thinking about, exploring, however you want to phrase it, the possibility of trading one Giannis Antetokounmpo. So that's the caveat to this whole thing, and that's where I hope John Horst goes for blood. I hope he isn't trying to, quote unquote, do right by Giannis and send him to a contender to where, he potentially is in a spot to be a, kind of a easy championship or in a good spot to win a championship. I hope he goes for blood, and I hope he's asking for the roof for the unborn children of some of these teams, for first round picks going all the way to 2075 or something like that, for crying out loud. So I hope that's what John Horst is doing, and maybe that will end up resulting in Giannis staying with the Bucks at this point. I don't know, but my Giannis meter is probably at a 4.9 right now. 10 would be that he's gone, pack his bags, he's going somewhere. 0, he's staying in Milwaukee. So I'm at about a 4.9 right now. Luke, where are you at?
It hasn't really changed for me.
Yeah.
What was that? A 4.3, I think, last time.
4.3, 4.7, somewhere around there. In the fours.
So there hasn't really been much of anything since that happened. And I keep seeing some of the Bucks beat writers kind of keep alluding to, like, what, if you ask us, we don't think this is as likely. This might be more of a national concern than necessarily a local concern, which I'm filing that away. The fact that I keep seeing that, like, and the stories are like, hey, it doesn't take much for the Bucks to rebuild. I guess if anything, I'm going to defer to them over what does Stephen A. and Perk have to say on this. Not saying that they said anything, but that's the obvious one. If anything, maybe I'm down to like a 4.2 or 4.1 because of that, but it really hasn't moved at all. But what Amick said about Horst is exactly right. Horst is the is directed to improve the winning chances of the Milwaukee Bucks. As simple as that.
Do you think it would be a little bit different in terms of maybe his trade package and such if they owned their own first-round picks?
Yeah,
to where they
probably.
would go in that whole rebuilding mode then?
Yeah, probably would.
Because I think that is part of the thing here is, like, if they suck, it's going to help other teams. It's not going to help them.
Yeah. So what do you do? That has complicated any kind of trade possibility because you have to have a lot of actual players, and it's tough to trade actual players because you know what you're getting exactly, and that can blow up a team in real time. But then, like, Giannis doesn't have trade veto ability at this. I mean, he can complain about it, but
and he also could say, "I'm not going to sign an extension."
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends. Like, Horst could just say, "Yes, screw it, we're going to go ahead and do that." But there are enough players involved that could say, well, no, because then he's not signing the extension. We're not doing the trade unless he signs the extension.
So is it fair to say almost, maybe I'm reaching a little bit with this, but is it almost fair to say that Giannis is maybe the one that's kind of in a possible no-win situation? Whereas, okay, you stay with the Bucks, how much could they actually do in the offseason? Now, Brook Lopez is going to be coming off the books in that, but you got Dame that's going to miss a big chunk of the season and such. So we don't know how exactly that team's going to look like. But if John Horst is really going to go for blood here to where he's going to get so much in return for Giannis to where that team he goes to, there might not be much left for Giannis talent-wise to pair up with. Is it fair to say Giannis might be the one that's kind of on a short end here a little bit?
I hadn't thought of it that way, but that's a good point. But then I thought, as you were saying that, I went, well, wait a minute. Like, play this out. At some point, the contract ends, and then Giannis leaves. There is, quote unquote, no compensation.
I got to imagine the team acquiring him would have to have a deal in place to re-sign him, right? I mean, if you're going to be giving up a lot, San Antonio, let's say, yeah, we'll give you all these players and picks,
Castle
and all that.
And this guy, and da-da-da-da-da.
But Giannis, you got to sign a new deal. So you're here for more than just a year.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine a team would want that.
Yeah, I mean, that's imperative because you're trying to do a one-shot deal in the NBA, and it's easier to pull that off because of the way the NBA playoffs tend to work. But it would have to be just the right situation, and then all you need is, oh, no, Giannis is out with a tweaked ankle for the first round of the playoffs, and oh, great, now the Spurs lost 4-1 to the Thunder, and okay, and then that's a complete disaster, and then it depends on the team. Let's say it's the Spurs. Like I think I said last week, Victor Wembanyama goes, well, what do we have now on my team? And he turns into the next Giannis situation. The problem for the Bucks, though, is if you wait longer and longer and longer, and he can just leave, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you're getting nothing out of it.
That's the thing is, like, you almost want, if this meeting hasn't happened, if you talk to Giannis, you almost want that commitment to where, all right, Giannis, will you sign another extension? The few years here. That's the big hangnail out there is that contract situation for Giannis. Because, if Giannis tells John Horst, whether he has already or whether he's going to this week, and I know Bucks fans are kind of like tired about, and we did a poll the other day, like their guts, it was like 74%. My gut tells me that Giannis is going to stay. But what if I flip it and say Giannis tells John Horst, I'm not signing an extension to where he's going to be a free agent after next year? Don't you feel like you got to trade him?
Yes. The hope is that for Bucks fans and for, I presume, the organization, unless they're thinking so big picture of like, well, we have to plan out 10, 15 post years from now, post Giannis. But the assumption is that if he doesn't go, he's getting into position to be a Buck for life. He may not ultimately want to be a Buck for life at a certain point. Again, we don't know. That's kind of the mystery of this. How is he? It's this binary of, is he loyal or does he want to win? Well, no, it's more complex than that. That's how we've distilled this down to kind of a save Giannis thing, get him out of Milwaukee. Side note, I wonder, I've just started to hear the first hint from the producer of baseball tonight, but this makes me wonder if there's more of this. You mentioned the Pirates, how bad they are. How long until we got to get Paul Skeens to the Yankees and the Mets and the Dodgers?
Jeff Passan's already been talking about it.
Yeah. Now, a lot of that has to do with the ineptitude of the Pittsburgh Pirates, too. This is not just this.
There is no trust whatsoever that they will be like, okay, we got this guy for a few years. We're going to go all in.
Yeah. No,
they're not doing that.
No, they're just kind of riding this. And then after that, well, they're going to keep saving costs. But it's also not this odd thing. And I think this is more particular to the NBA than to other sports of like, we got to get the star out of the small market no matter what. The small market may be a dominant market. The player may like it, but we got to get him to New York, LA, Miami, because that's right.
Yeah.
Like there's this sense
That's
out there.
what just like when they say Miami, I'm like, what's in Miami that would automatically make it better for Giannis?
I guess just liking it there.
Tyler Hero, okay, good player. Duncan Robinson for crying out. I mean, come on.
Miami is all about the city.
It is.
And I think it used to be, and maybe still is, the organization.
And I do like Eric Spoelstra as head coach.
Yeah,
I do.
They've
But
been one of the best organizations in the past decade and a half.
But what have they done in terms of championships since LeBron's left?
Not a lot. They've been competitive, but they're not winning.
Right.
I mean, maybe the theory is, well, then you need Giannis to go over the top. Maybe, but then who leaves? And also it does appear as though maybe the Riley era is about to expire down there. Zombie Heat's still going to be a thing until they completely redo their organization. I still am scared of that, and I think all of us are. But
hey, maybe the simple answer is this. Whoever signs Thanasis, now that he has announced he's back, he's coming back, he's cleared to play.
Gosh. Did he say it on his pod?
Yes.
Of course.
Back. John Horst, pick up the phone and call it and sign Thanasis right now.
Well,
then it's done.
Or if he does not, then make a deal with that team immediately. Make it simple. Doesn't matter the team. If it's the Charlotte Hornets, we go.
Is Thanasis the most intriguing free agent in the NBA offseason right now?
We're being facetious, but you know that's going to come up. Sad to say, it will. Gosh, this all is it's quite the bind for Giannis and the Bucks at this point. But again, you mentioned Horst has job security.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it could be the classic. He got signed to an extension and then he got fired. But then we're back to how many fired employees do the Bucks want to pay?
Right. Yep.
They may have hedge fund managers as their owners, but they're not going to want to spend on sunk costs.
Yep. All right, really quick before I take a break, a couple things. Mark with the text. I don't often, but I have to disagree with C-Bomb on the tush push. It's not a football play. If I want to see that, I'll go to a rugby match. Let's go back to the days not all that long ago when aiding the runner was a penalty. For what it's worth, Diana Rossini just a few minutes ago said it is, according to her sources, likely to pass today. They will ban the tush push. So, R.I.P. tush push. R.I.P.
Who was the player? I saw the quote yesterday. Like they kind of wanted, like, if you're going to do anything, go ahead and ban it because that means it was such a memorable play that it got banned by the NFL.
It should go in the Hall of Fame now.
Kind of, yeah. And look, the Eagles won a championship.
Can
while
you
they were
tell the history of the National Football League without the tush push?
It sounds a little absurd, but
it's a chapter.
It was. We're banning a play, and it involved a championship and a team that's one of the best right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe so.
All right. So we'll keep you posted if that is the case. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Hit us up with some more texts. 715-830-1912. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
You're listening to The Dan Kasper Show.
Had a devastating knee injury, tore my ACL, tore my PCL, shredded my medial meniscus, and had an initial surgery. That really didn't hold. Had another follow-up surgery around 8 years later. That didn't work, and I didn't want to undergo another surgical procedure.
Enough with the surgeries. They didn't ease the pain, and recovery was brutal. Carmen heard about another treatment for pain relief, the non-invasive regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
I simply figured, heck, I'm going to pick up the phone and call QC Kinetics. And since I've been treated, my quality of life has dramatically gotten better, and I can't thank QC Kinetics enough.
These are the nation's leaders in regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics uses the body's own healing components to help provide relief and functionality.
10 months ago, I had difficulty walking up and down a flight of steps. Now I can do just about anything I desire. I'm back to the old me.
If you have joint pain, before you consider surgery, call QC Kinetics. The consultation is free.
Call QC Kinetics, 715-443-4440. That's 715-443-4440. 715-443-4440.
Looking for a hands-on role that takes you beyond the shop? Field service technicians at LPI Inc. travel the country installing and maintaining advanced lift systems. This role involves troubleshooting, mechanical work, and problem-solving on site. With 50 to 60% travel, technicians gain new experiences while sharpening their skills. Competitive pay, a 35% travel premium, and travel perks add to the opportunity. On-site medical and wellness services help keep things running smoothly. Take the next step in a career that moves. Apply now at lpi-inc.com/careers.
ServiceMaster of Chippewa Valley is your local expert when it comes to fire and water damage, carpet and air duct cleaning, mold remediation, and trauma. They're when you need them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Trust comes in the yellow truck. Learn more at ServiceMasterChippewaValley.com.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Every Sunday home game, 9 lucky kids ages 6 to 13 will appear on the field during the national anthem. Enter a child for their chance to have their major league moment today by visiting your local participating PNC Bank. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org, insured by NCUA.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Broadcasting live from the TDS Sports Talk 105.1 studios, it's the Dan Kasper Show.
Looking for great food, cold drinks, and a welcoming atmosphere? Then you better get on over to the VFW Post 305, located at 1300 Star Avenue in Eau Claire. Open to the public, they offer menu items from breakfast to their famous fish fry, a full bar, and a friendly staff. Plus, you can enjoy weekly events and live music performances. They've always got music bands playing and a bunch of fun events going on. Donna does a fantastic job over there. Plus, it's that perfect time of the year, maybe not right now with all the rain going on, but it's that perfect time of the year to get on that back porch and enjoy the view of the river and Dell's Pond from the VFW Post 305. So what do you wait for? We'll see you all at the VFW Post 305 this summer. Let's talk some football as we await the official word that the tush push is officially going to be banned. Diana Rossini saying, her sources saying it will be banned today. They have enough votes to do it and such. So what say you, Joseph? Should they ban it? Are you in favor of it?
First of all, VFW, we were talking about that coming out of the break. I love that place, man. That is, I stopped over there with our own Phil Tripper the other day, and it is just a cool place to hang out. So I tip my hat to them. So the tush push, and of course the language now is not directed directly at the tush push. The revised language is you cannot assist or aid or help with any kind of a push or pull of another player. And so they revised it, and now here we are, and it looks like it will be banned. You know what? I'm indifferent on it, but here's the interesting thing about it. Because part of me is, as a football coach, you know what? Learn to stop it. All right. So the hardcore football coach, the old school football coach in me says, you know what? If somebody came up with something that is legal right now, then you just need to learn to stop it. But here's the interesting thing, Captain. I heard that because Green Bay has no owners, because of course Green Bay was the one that sponsored
wait.
this.
I got a piece of paper that says I'm an owner, sir.
Yes, you know what? Has multitude of owners, has a lot of owners, has a plethora of owners.
I have yet to go to a shareholders meeting, but you know.
Have no authority.
What?
Sorry,
I get this thing in the mail. It says
I know.
votes.
I didn't mean to tell you there was no Santa Claus. I didn't mean to do that. So here's the thing. Many owners wanted Green Bay to sponsor this bill. All right. So I think it's interesting that Green Bay has been kind of hung out to dry on this. But the word is that there's a lot of teams in the league that want this banned, and basically said to Mark Murphy, can you initiate this? Because that way it won't look like it's an owner doing it. So, I thought it was interesting inner politics, and it made some sense to me, because here's the bottom line. If it passes, that says that the majority of the owners, the majority of the league wants it banned. And so, again, I think the old school coach in me says, this should be something, if you learn to stop it, it's not a problem. But then when you look at the majority of the league, they want it out. So when the majority rules, that's what happens.
Yeah. So, I mean, sounds like it's going to go back to what it used to be. And I know a lot of people are using the Ice Bowl reference.
Yeah.
With Star and the Snake
and Chuck Racine.
And Chuck Racine.
Chuck Racine in that game, everyone thinks he's signaling touchdown. He's not. He's showing the refs that he's not aiding the Star with the sneak. So, it is what it is. The NFL goes through these things every once in a while. There's something that happens, and then they say, okay, we've got to address it now. And so they did. And I think the majority of the league said ban it. So it'll be banned.
Yeah. So I was a little surprised that we are to this point. I thought maybe eventually, but it's going to be quicker than I originally thought it was going to get, to be at this spot that it's going to be banned.
Well, and it's interesting because they tabled it at the owners meetings, and they tabled it because of the writing. Because it was written specifically about the tush push. And so now that there is no pushing or pulling of players to help them advance the ball like it used to be. That was the rule. And so now it's more broad, and now I think people are saying, well, this isn't just about the tush push. This is about other plays as well. But like I said, the bottom line for me is I'm indifferent. It is what it is. Move on.
Yep. I agree. So, Olympics going to be having some players over there. Oh, you're saying you don't like that?
No, I do.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, I love it.
Okay.
But I understand the consternation from coaches and ownership and that type of thing. Again, look, it's kind of like the Drew Brees thing. If you remember him in the Pro Bowl back in the day when he got hurt, getting hurt in a game like that, getting hurt in something like that affects your ability to not only earn a paycheck, because Drew Brees at that point didn't get the big contract. And Miami walked away from him, changed the whole face of that franchise, really. And that was because of an injury in a Pro Bowl. So I love it. And I heard the player side, to have the opportunity to actually be in the Olympics is special. And so I appreciate that. I also understand the owners and coaches side. You tear an ACL in an Olympic flag football game, that's just a gut punch to a franchise if you lose a star player because of that. So and also the timing of that, because if you do it in the Summer Olympics, you're probably out 2 seasons, maybe, or at least of a season and a half. So yeah, I understand the consternation. My side was not, I don't want to see this. My side is, man, I see both sides of this. And if somebody really does get hurt, which of course I don't want to have happen, that'll be horrible. That'd be just absolutely horrible. For the players, I love it. Again, if you're Patrick Mahomes, if you're whoever, and you've got a Super Bowl ring, and you've obviously had success in college, to now have that Olympic gold medal, that's the trifecta. That really truly says to me, that defines my career. That it's kind of like, Chris Middleton, after winning the championship with Drew Holiday, goes out and then they win the gold in the Olympics. So I get it from both sides. Just a tough call if you're a coach or an owner of a team.
Yeah, I will say if Team USA doesn't dominate this one, then we got some issues.
We got some issues.
We got some major issues with this.
No doubt. This is even more so than basketball. This is
our sport.
There is no other country that should be able to compete at any level of this with a flag football competition.
We had some fun with players wise. Who would you put in there? How about coach though? We never talked about that. Who would you have coaching Team USA? The dream team of football.
I would probably you'd want an offensive mind, of course. You want somebody who uses a lot of motion and that type of thing. The name just popped into my head, and he's not a current coach, but somebody who's done air raid and somebody who's done those types of things. June Jones.
Oh boy.
So that's the kind of offense you're going to need to run. And so where you've got 4, 5, 6 wideouts, depending on how the rules go with that. And so I would go with someone like June Jones, who can put that creativity into a flag football offense.
I might go McVay. A little enthusiasm, LA guy.
If you want to go current coaches, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'd put McDaniel, McVay. I'd put LaFleur in that category. These offensive minds that
Kyle Shanahan might have to. That's the only way he's going to win a championship.
Oh wow!
Well, that's the only way Justin Jefferson's probably going to win a championship too. So I mean, that's
wow.
He's focused on the gold instead of a Lombardi.
You decided to go there today. You basically, all of the San Francisco and Minnesota listeners today.
It is a Trash Talk Wednesday, so.
Well, okay. All right. Well, there you go. That's true. All right. Well,
I mean, facts are facts, though, too.
So. I always know that I took the tour. Luke, have you been up to tour the Super Bowl trophy cabinet of the Vikings yet?
Still looking for it.
Okay. There you go.
It's somewhere. Might be my dreams.
Actually, I was just going to say it's actually nowhere.
I was going to say the correct answer is yes, because there isn't one.
Yes. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Yeah, I got a nice building that you drive by.
It's a very nice
orthopedics
building.
one
Yes.
over there.
A beautiful building that they're talking about now, moving the combine to.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They've mentioned the TCF or whatever. No, Twin Cities. I'm confused by TCF Bank, but in Egan, they want to move it there.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, it's on the table.
Right.
It's on the table.
Interesting. Do you think the Twin Cities would be a good combine location?
Oh, of course. It's a major hub of an airport. You've got all kinds of advantages there. So absolutely, it would be. But
wow.
Yeah, I still like it in Indy. I think it's more central. I think it's easier to get to because obviously, Minnesota is a little bit more north, of course. And so,
late February, it can get dicey.
Yeah, Indy can too, though.
Yeah, that's also true.
But Indy can too. But yeah, the facilities are great up there. Yeah. It's just too bad that, again, they won't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they got nothing to showcase when they go to the combine if it is there. Yeah.
Hey, look, there's that 1969 NFL championship.
Hey, I could donate them an ice fishing trophy.
Thank you. We'll put that up right next to it too. Got to put up the hardware.
Yeah. I think I got something sitting here. I'll give them a beer drinking trophy there.
I like that.
Yeah. So
I like that.
Would be
hey, Packers wise, kind of a question I was throwing out in the first hour because obviously we were talking about Matt Schneidman's article a little bit earlier this week about players that have to make a jump this year or pivotal players. But I want to take it a little bit of a different approach.
Okay.
Do 180. Who's a player that's getting too much praise right now, or we're putting a lot of eggs in their basket that maybe you're not ready to be like, okay, I'm not hitching my wagon there yet. I need to see a little bit more. I don't know if I would, I don't know if I'm ready to say, okay, this guy's going to be a stud or this guy's going to have a fantastic season. So for example, for me, it was Keyshawn Nixon.
And you know what? That's where my brain went, was Keyshawn Nixon. I think You're asking a lot of him. It's when you go from being nickel to the number 2 to the number 1 potentially. That's a lot of pressure, and so you start seeing different matchups. You start seeing different opportunities, or at least the offensive coordinator sees those opportunities. And so I'd say Keyshawn Nixon. I think Quay Walker comes to mind because obviously Green Bay has talked about an extension with him. And again, we saw some flashes last year in this Jeff Hafley defense, excuse me. And so I would say probably those two are the biggest that come to my mind. And so I looking down the roster up and down in my brain, I'm just like, yeah, you got to go Keyshawn, you got to go Quay.
We had a few people say Marshawn Lloyd, just because we didn't see him last year at all.
Yeah, but I don't think the hype necessarily is reaching the level of a Keyshawn Nixon or a Quay Walker.
And for me too, it's like, how much are we actually going to see Marsh? Like, do you want to take Josh Jacobs off the field?
Man,
You're not splitting carries.
And Wilson performed last year. So unless you've got some packages that you want to bring Lloyd in for, which I'm fine with, I wouldn't say that any kind of hype levels at that level when you've got starters in Keyshawn Nixon and Quay Walker.
Concerned at all about Elton Jenkins with some of the stuff out there that he's not with the team right now because he wants a new extension? Would you give him a new contract because he's going to be playing center?
That's a tough call. And do you want to give a guy at the end of his contract who will be 31 a new contract? That's a big question mark. I think it's a wait and see. Look, he doesn't have any leverage.
Right.
It's not like this is it's not like this is the final year of his deal. He's got another year after this. And so he has no leverage. If he wants to sit out a little bit of training camp, maybe he can, maybe he will, but I don't see the leverage there. So I see Elton Jenkins playing out this year, and then the Packers probably deciding mid-year whether or not to make that move, depending on how this move goes to center.
I know there's been some talk too, Adam Stenovich, was it last week or a couple weeks ago, talking about the position battles on the offensive line, and he threw in right tackle on there. That Zach Tom was in that. And for me, I guess, I mean, I kind of get it, but I also view it as like, I don't think necessarily Zach Tom's fighting for a job. It's just the versatility that he brings, that maybe he plays somewhere else if Anthony Belton just goes out there and dominates, because it's always about the 5 best will play.
That's it.
I mean, so I don't necessarily buy into the talk or whatever out there that is Zach Tom really fighting for his job. I just think he's a part of that equation for the best 5 that maybe is it possible he plays somewhere else on this line.
He's the first one for an extension of that free agent class coming up.
Right.
So I think you get a Zach Tom deal done as quickly as possible. And really, when you look at that draft, that was a good draft from Goody. The starters that he pulled out of that draft: Rasheed Walker, Zach Tom, Romeo Dobbs, Sean Ryan, Christian Watson, if he didn't get hurt, Quay Walker, I believe, Devontae Wyatt were all in that draft, I think, weren't they?
I think so. Yeah, I'll have to double check, but
yeah.
That would be. I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a good draft from Goody. And again, last year looked like it was a pretty good draft. If he comes back this year with another good draft, that's the basis for moving forward. But yeah, I think that Zach Tom, in my opinion, I think you leave him at right tackle. He's again, don't think potential when you start moving a guy around. Just look at the tape and look at what he's done already, and look at where he's proven himself in the NFL. Leave him at right tackle and give him the contract.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. And I know they're like, well, they haven't. He didn't say that it was open for the center or for left guard. Well, I mean, let's use some common sense here, people.
Right.
You've already said Elton Jenkins is going to be your center, so you're not going to then the next week say, yeah, we got a battle at center. And you're not going to say that with Aaron Banks, who you just gave a 4-year, $77 million deal. Let's use common sense, people.
Right.
With this.
And you've got a second-round pick and a first-round pick in back-to-back years that are going to be in the mix as well.
Right.
So yeah, best 5. Zach Tom is one of the best 5. He might be right now, because we don't know Elton Jenkins at center. He might be the best of the 5.
That's true. That's true. Definitely versatility too. I mean, he's played literally everywhere on that line. Well, Elton Jenkins has too. So
yeah, no doubt.
He tried at right tackle, but it was just better suited for the interior.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So, did you watch the Favre documentary?
I did. I did. Here's the thing. And first of all, Peter King did great work on there. Bill Michaels did great work on there. So kudos to a couple of people who you know very well, and Peter and Bill. But I thought it was no new information for me. I watched it with my wife though, and I'm gonna give you the corollary. My wife was never a Favre fan to begin with. There was just something about him that didn't sit right with her, and I equate it to this. So my wife is also not a big Bob Dylan fan. We went and saw the Timothy Chalamet movie, and she said, I don't know if I can dislike Bob Dylan anymore. Coming out of the movie, she's like, I did. Oh, and so now the Favre documentary, she didn't like him going into it. And she, again, just something about him. And again, I was more in the sports media directly at that time when Favre was playing. So I do know a lot of those stories firsthand. But I will say this, that my wife came out of the documentary saying, kind of like the Bob Dylan thing, where she said, I didn't like him to begin with. Nothing in this thing made me feel any better about him or worse about him. Because obviously the welfare thing has been news and very recent news. And the fact that Favre went into the Parkinson's thing during the hearings for that, to me, that was a sympathy vote. And that was Favre saying, okay, I'm going to try to reposition this and shift this. But I thought it was well done. I really did. I thought, again, presenting both sides of the Jen Sturger thing, I thought that was good to see that side of things. But it was nothing to me that said, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I think for the casual fan, I think it's a must watch because I think it sheds a light on things of an athlete that you don't necessarily want to know about. And I think it's even heightened. And I think Peter King talked about this and Bill talked about this in the documentary because of its Green Bay. Because when Favre got here, and again, you and I have talked about this, you've known nothing but Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. And so when you go 29 years between Super Bowls and really the 70s and 80s, it wasn't like they were even competitive. But because of what Favre did, because of what Ron Wolf did by bringing him here, Reggie White, the renaissance that happened, Favre was bigger than life. And Favre almost at that point did become untouchable and almost at that point did become godlike. And I think it's interesting when they talked in the documentary, the one area where I really appreciated was the conversation that Favre had with Sherman on the sidelines. And they go into it and Sherman's yelling at him and going on and on and on about an interception. And Favre just looked at him and said, what are you going to do about it? And I think when you get to that point as a player where you're thinking, I am bigger than the team, then it's time. Then when you get to that point, and quarterback is a position in of it itself that lends itself to that type of thing. And especially in the NFL, you're a Hall of Fame quarterback. You're an MVP quarterback. You're a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Yeah, you kind of can run that team. And so that was the biggest part to me. And of course, right after that, Aaron Rodgers gets drafted. Brett Favre goes into a tank mentally. He doesn't come out of it until Mike McCarthy takes over. A couple of coaching changes there.
That's where I give a lot more credit to Mike McCarthy than I think people should.
Absolutely. And you know what? The same thing with Matt LaFleur. I mean, the interesting parallels when you look at this, and the job that McCarthy had to do, and then the job that LaFleur had to do with Rodgers. I just think it's an interesting dynamic when you look at it from a football perspective. The off the field stuff, and again, I knew enough at the time to know nothing surprised me. So here's the thing: appreciate the player. Don't be surprised what you find out about the person.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the caveat. And that's true in all kinds of public, whether it be, President Bill Clinton, whether it be Michael Jordan, whether it be Brett Favre, whether it, musicians, artists, actors, anybody in the spotlight. Appreciate the art, appreciate what they do, put the person separate. Keep the person separate. And again, I'm not saying disregard what they do, But the idolization that we have of the pedestal that we put these players, these people on, you just have to be careful. Because especially, you and I, the three of us in here are dads. When you look at our young kids idolizing some of these players, some of these people, that's when okay, no, that's somebody who I don't want you idolizing. I'd rather you idolize the bench player that's a much better person than the star quarterback who's winning MVPs.
I'll tell you the one thing that I learned from it is that Jen Sturger was found by hornball Brett Musburger. I didn't know that. That guy. I mean, for crying out loud.
And as you guys know, my wife is in the media, and she knew somebody who worked with Musburger at a different place, and she said, just not a good person to work with. Kind of like, we've all seen the Casey Kasem blow up, and you all think Casey is this great guy. Musburger's the same way. Behind the scenes, really not a good guy to work with. And so, and when they were taking pictures together, I mean, you just look like, come on, creepy old man, step aside. No doubt.
I mean, I knew the AJ McCarron wife won.
Yep.
But I did not know he was, what did he say? 1,500 red-blooded Americans just enrolled at Florida State University.
Yeah. And I'm just like, hey, turn off the mic, Brent, if you want to say something like that.
Right.
And again, just, that guy. And when the pictures of he and Jen, I'm like, all right, creepy old man, time to step aside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No doubt. No doubt. But, here's it's the ugly side of everything public. Like I said, whether it be presidential, the arts, music, theater, sports, there is this ugly side of a feeling of entitlement and also untouchable. It goes back to Brett Favre saying this on the sideline. What are you going to do about it? And Mike Sherman couldn't do anything about it. What's he going to do? Bench Brett Favre at that point?
Right.
When he's got a job?
And I think it's fair to say Aaron turned into that too.
He totally did. And Aaron defiantly said he will never be Brett Favre. And I said to my wife, I said, who's worse, Favre or Rodgers? And I kind of let her like, well, at least Rodgers hasn't stolen from the poor. And she said, yet. So we'll see.
It's like, I don't know if it's a thing in Green Bay where you become so godlike because you're in such a small town compared to these other. I mean, when you're a good quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, or even just an average player for the Packers, you get put on such a huge pedestal.
There's nothing else, and they talked about this in the documentary. I mean, there's nothing else to not necessarily cheer for, but also, almost it's their lives.
Yeah,
it's absolutely their lives. And so my wife actually, her observation, maybe it's Green Bay, maybe because of the nature of the beast, the microscope that you're under there. The idolization that we have of players that bring back the memories of Lombardi and Lambeau. Maybe there is something to it that Green Bay is almost too small. But again, wouldn't change a thing about Green Bay.
Right.
Wouldn't change a thing about the atmosphere, the history, the game day experience. But yeah, there might be something to that this is a Green Bay thing.
I would agree with that. So, all right, dude. Thanks, man.
Hey, you know what? I love being in studio. It's much better. I'm going to say probably next week in Michigan, we'll just.
Phone does work now.
Yep. All right. So
phone does
we'll
work.
Try to do it next week.
We got them working now.
But I tell you, we're almost to June. Football's right around the corner.
That sure is. But then we got the Express starting next week too. So
yes, I love going out to the ball game.
We got Sports Talk night next Friday.
You know what? I will be in Michigan. So I will be in Michigan. I already thought about that.
We could zoom you in on the video board now that they've got
They got a video board.
That would be cool.
Yeah. They got a video board now.
A Zoom call on a video board at the Express game.
Yeah. You have your big visage on there while the game is happening, and you're just like watching.
Can Craig pull that off?
I'm sure he could. Now, would he want to is the biggest question.
That's probably fair to say.
Well, because there'd be one person in the crowd of thousands that might be happy about it. And I'm saying might, and that probably would be my wife.
That's pushing it.
That's totally
still pushing it. Yeah.
Because she kind of likes it when I'm out of town, so she doesn't want to remind her.
So that probably means she's going to come to Sports Talk
Oh,
tonight
she's
and have
coming.
some fun.
Of course,
Oh, she's
yes.
already coming.
Naturally.
She's already told me she's coming.
All right. Because Hudson's throwing out first pitch again.
Oh, is
so
he really?
I have to buy him a new Express hat for it, though.
Yeah. New logo.
Because I was asked to ask him. He's like, yeah, if you buy me a new hat. I'm like, oh.
Negotiations.
Oh, please. Yes.
Negotiations.
And you'll appreciate this, Luke, a Jackson Merrill rookie debut card.
Wow.
Like he's
Dang.
But hang on. Here's the thing.
Dang.
Because when we talk about my kids or Luke, your daughter, or whatever the case may be, who is Hudson most like?
Are you talking to my wife right now? Or are you talking to me?
Well, the sports side of it.
Oh yeah.
The ability to talk about sports and the ability to knowing what he wants. Because honestly, that's probably something a young Dan Kasper would have said. If there's a new logo on my team, I'm probably going to want the new hat.
I was of this way not that long ago, but like even a Packer jersey, when they switched from Reebok to Nike, I can't wear the Reebok ones anymore. I had to get a new one with the Nike logo on the side. I can't do that. So
yeah, it's kind of like me to a certain extent. Anybody who wears an old school Packer jersey from the 60s and has the name on the back.
Oh no.
Okay, so quickly, this will come up at some point in the next 3 years. I know we got to take a break. What do you think of the Packers and this rivalries uniform thing that the NFL is starting to do? Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
What thoughts on the latest alternate?
I don't have any problem with it. It's a way for the NFL to make more money.
Bingo.
That's
Which
all it
ties
is.
back to this of like
So
the kids are like, ooh, new merch.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's a way to make new money, and you know we it is capitalism at its best, and so it is what it is. By the way, your Giannis meter 4.9, you said.
Yeah.
I'm right there. I think
Trending up, but not really moving. Because I think you were more like a 4 point. Were you a 3.8 last week?
I might have been lower, but I think I'm up. Going up, but still not.
It's not skyrocketing. DEFCON.
DEFCON 1 would be the worst.
Yeah. I think. And I loved your take on it today. Yes, Horst should do whatever he can to make the other team look horrible to Giannis.
Exactly.
And get whatever he can from that team. And, it goes back to KD's take. What are you going to trade for Giannis? 4 of your 5 starters and 6 draft choices. So he's a once-in-a-lifetime player. So totally agree with you.
That's still in his prime, too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you guys.
All right, dude. Appreciate it. We got to take a really quick break here. We'll wrap up the second hour after these quick words.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
Get ready to save with half-off deals, a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Ready to upgrade your home? Start from the ground up with Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Whether it's carpet, vinyl, tile, or laminate, Carpet City Flooring Center has the perfect flooring to match your style and your budget. With one of the largest selections in the area and a knowledgeable team that's there to help, you'll find exactly what you need, whether you're updating one room or doing a whole home makeover. From selection to installation, Carpet City Flooring Center makes it easy. Their professional installers get the job done right and on time. And if you're not sure where to start, their in-store experts will guide you through every step. Locally owned and proud to serve the Eau Claire area, Carpet City Flooring Center is your trusted flooring partner. Just stop on in today and see why more homeowners and contractors choose Carpet City Flooring Center. Better floors, bigger selection, best value. That's Carpet City Flooring Center. Give them a visit today at 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire and check them out online at carpetcitywi.com. Looking for top quality meats with a hometown touch? Well, since 1990, Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire has been your trusted local butcher. Mike's Star Market's sausages and brats are handcrafted on site with minimal processing, delivering unbeatable flavor. Plus, they have so many different flavor options that you will never run out of new ones to try. Need some custom cuts or venison processing? They offer that too. Warmer weather is here, people, so it's time to fire up the grills and head to Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire.
When you're in the business of building the future, why rely on yesterday's internet technology? 100% fiber internet from TDS is engineered to handle industrial strength demands with turbocharged symmetrical speeds and 99.9% network reliability. Get internet that keeps your business light years ahead. Upgrade to cable-crushing TDS fiber internet. Strong enough for your business, strong enough for you. Learn more at tdsbusiness.com. Internet speeds are up to and not guaranteed. Subject to availability. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The sports show that's anything but ordinary. The Dan Kasper Show, weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
Only got a couple minutes to the top of the hour here, but really quick, Rick says the reason it sucks, talking about the Giannis trade thing, the reason it sucks is because the NBA doesn't value first-round picks outside the first 5 to 7 picks every year. It's crapshoot. The Bucks want picks. I would say why? They trade him to a contender for an end-of-the-round 1 pick. Yes, it would be multiple years. But if I don't have a top 3 pick in multiple drafts, I'd keep him and work on an extension. Well, I think in this case, though, too, like, for instance, the Spurs do hold the number 2 pick.
Right.
Like in this year's draft.
Yeah.
And then remember, too, a lot of these teams, they own the rights of some other teams' picks that maybe are really bad over there, too. So there's a little bit more to that. I get that. You know, you trade them to, like, the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yes, first-round picks are going to be towards the back end. Knicks, whatever. Spurs, they got the second overall pick, and they've got some other stuff over there, too. So a little bit more to it than that.
It's complicated.
It is.
Just wait till the draft night when we have no idea who's actually picking whom because all the labels are still off because nothing is officially approved yet.
I did love the Shaq comment now to spark the whole conspiracy thing when David Stearns apparently asked him, where do you want to go? Where do you want to play? Somewhere warm or somewhere cold? Did you hear that the other day?
I did not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm like, oh boy, here because you know who had the best odds for the number 1 pick that year?
That would be the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yep.
I remember that distinctly.
Yep.
Wanted 1 or 2. We got 3. Christian Laettner. Yep. We, of course, yeah, because I'm part of the organization.
So Hornets jumped up to number 2 and got Alonzo Mourning.
Where's the Magic? You mean?
No, Magic had the number 1 pick, and it was Shaq.
No. Right. Sorry.
Then Hornets had number 2 because they had a really low shot, but they were like jumped up and
yeah, I remember now. Yep. Okay, thanks for reminding me how that went. Yeah, I got Laettner, which seemed like actually seemed like a decent pick at the time in the spring of '92.
Who's the better T-Wolf of all time, him or Tom Gugliotta?
I
say Tom Gugliotta.
I would probably agree with Tom Gugliotta as the better of the 2, unfortunately, but that's kind of how it went. I
There's
always
your
wondered,
random player for the
what
day.
if Shaq had stayed though? Like, how would he have stayed past his contract? No. If they hadn't won a title, even if they had, he would have left. It was a matter of time.
I don't know. You watched this magic moment from a couple years ago. They wouldn't have been screwing around a little bit earlier. Maybe he could have. Maybe. I mean, come on. He wanted Penny. Blue chips. Made him force Chris to trade to Chris Webber for Penny. So
seat up.
Son of a gun. My word. Never mind. I don't want to bring up bad memories. All right, 2 in, 1 more to go.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. From the 715 newsroom, It's your news done differently with Morgan McCarthy.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're learning today. An update from a story that was unfolding yesterday. As we now know, authorities say 2 UW-Platteville students who died Monday had suffered gunshot wounds. 22-year-old Kelsey Martin and 22-year-old Haley Helms discovered in a room at a residence hall on campus at UW-Platteville. It happened that Helms was found dead at the scene of a self-inflicted wound, while Martin was taken from the scene to a UW hospital where she was later pronounced dead. An investigation into that incident is ongoing. In headlines nearer to us, former Eau Claire County Treasurer Larry Logan is being ordered not to leave the state. He was sentenced in 2015 after being convicted on charges that he and an assistant took part in a theft of $1.3 million from the county. He's due to be released from custody next month. He had hoped to move out of the state. He was told yesterday he does not have permission to leave Wisconsin, but can petition again for permission at a later date. Meanwhile, in St. Croix County, the sheriff's office there is investigating 2 people who were found dead in Springfield Township. Officers were performing a welfare check earlier in the week to find the bodies of an adult male and adult female. A firearm also discovered at the scene. Reports say the victims did know each other. Well, somebody takes a wrong turn in Chippewa County when it comes to making choices. Reports that road signs are being stolen are now coming out of Sheriff Hake's office, as he said that there was a stop sign that had been cut down during overnight hours, and a number of similar reports of other road signs being taken as well. You can find the full press release online. If you have any information, you're asked to take that to authorities. Make the stop at 715newsroom.com. And can I get you a drink to start you off? It's National Waitstaff Day.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics says there are about 2.5 million waitstaff working in the U.S., and it takes skill to be good at it. Waitstaff knows the ever-changing specials. They take your order and they bring you stuff. They know timing to get to you when your mouth isn't full of food, anticipate needs, and do it with a smile, all for the payoff at the end, the tip. Today, show a little extra love in that department. I'm Bree Tennis.
You know, and I hate to point this out, but when it comes to these digs on Kasper every day, the struggle is real.
And it takes skill to be good at it.
And I admit, I don't always nail it, but I try. And most of all, I
do it with a smile.
And that's not only because I love my job, but because I know when it comes to the news, so many of us just wait
for the payoff at the end.
Which reminds me, we got a memo from the boss. So Kasper has been whining all week because nobody's giving enough attention. Everybody else gets more attention. So now to make him happy, the boss says we have to
show a little extra love in that department.
For Sports Talk 105.1, I'm Morgan McCarthy.
No changes to our weather this morning as we continue to track scattered rain showers in the area. Temperatures are holding steady in the 40s. You will want to make sure to have that rain gear on hand today. We are looking at on and off showers, some areas of drizzle. Cloudy skies are expected. A light breeze, our high in the low 50s. For tonight, an early shower gives way to mainly cloudy skies, a low of 41. Some sun tomorrow, mid 60s. I'm 13 First Alert meteorologist Derek Tallman.
Do you have damage to your roof or exterior of your home or pole shed? Call the local experts. Call TF Exteriors now, 715-864-3876, your trusted partner for superior roofing solutions. Whatever you need done, locally owned and operated. Call TF Exteriors or go to tfexteriors.com. Free estimates, works with insurance, family owned, specializes in steel, siding, shingles, and gutters. That's tfexteriors.com.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
From the hardwood and the diamond to the gridiron and the course, Dan's got you covered with his trademark blend of sports passion and knowledge. He has the sports info you want and the sports therapy you need. So get your game face on, people.
Let's go get to the bell, huh? Put up or shut up, sir. We gotta get it started from the jump. Play big. Let's go. That's what legends made, man. It's showtime. Welcome to the big leagues. Let's go.
Because it's the Dan Kasper Show.
Final hour kicking off right now on this Wednesday morning. We are making the turn here. A big thanks for tuning in, however, wherever you may be tuning in from. We'll get back to some more baseball talk because in a few hours from now, the Brewers will wrap up their series against Baltimore. Hey, maybe the Twins will actually get a full game in this week.
Bob Bull sold with the guy in the yellow jacket rubbing his hands together behind the tree GIF right now, ready to just go off on a dome. Oh, my gosh.
They're still trying to finish that first game from Monday yet. So, we'll see. I mean, if it's anything like around here, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, I don't know that today's going to happen. It might be kind of clearing, maybe, but it might also be drifting. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It happens. I don't want to say ask any Twins fan because I think I've seen some Twins fans online saying they should have built a roof. Okay, fine. Everyone has their own take on that. But I will take Target Field as is. And look, you've seen my shirt. I like the Metrodome.
Is it Set de Mayo or whatever? Anyways, is that the shirt?
Set de Mayo, and that's one of my other shirts.
I was going to say, is it that time of year?
I'm actually wearing a Prince shirt right now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is another Minnesota related one, but has nothing to do with sports. But Saint de Mayo was on Saturday.
Was it Saturday?
Norwegian Constitution Day. So those who know.
Woodville. I always played in a softball tournament.
Oh, yeah. So, yep. There it is. Kind of a big deal. But as great as I don't necessarily say great. I like the Metrodome, but Target Field is very, very well done, and a roof would have changed that. And that's also not, honestly, that is not a knock on American Family Field. Just the way Target Field is done, I don't think that would work with a roof. We've had a lot of rainouts this year, but they don't always happen. Like, we're not 15 years into this. It's been 15 years now.
Here's my thing. Like, I want to go to Brewers Twins next month, but I'm not buying my tickets until I'm really close to actually know that there's going to be a game.
And, well, now, and
I hate that.
See, now, by that point,
I like to pre-plan.
It's a fair point. And you were able to do that in the Metrodome. And you can do that in American Family Field. But by that point, I don't think we're going to be having, like, 2.5 day long stretches of cold rain where
you don't know that
temperature. I mean, I suppose it's okay. The temperature is not going to be the same as the average high for like March, which is what we've been having these past few days. Average high right now is 71. Yesterday was like 45.
Yeah,
a little cool. It'll be better. I will bet those games go off totally fine.
You want to put it on the board?
Well, I almost could.
Okay.
If there's going to be rain, it's going to be like a thunderstorm that rolls through, and it's a rain delay during the game, and they resume it and they finish it.
I don't know, because they are day games on Saturday and Sunday.
See, that makes me feel even better.
Okay.
Then they got the whole day. I'd be more worried about like 7 o'clock, start the game. You get like big storm with like all the rain that's behind it, and then it finishes up at 1 a.m., but then it's too late. Day games, they'll get them in. I'm confident.
All right. Let's do some stock reports. Shall we? Let's do some stock risers first. Whose stock is rising?
Logan Henderson. Saw the stat yesterday, and I want to bring this up.
Is it the one that the first 10th pitcher since 1901?
That one.
Yeah.
Was it? I think
7+ strikeouts in his first 3 starts.
Yes, first as a Brewer.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. Where you at? And
he better not get sent back down, for crying out loud. Just like if everybody's healthy and that because he has options, and you're trying to make don't play that stupid game. He's one of your better pitchers. Rides the hot hand right now, for crying out loud.
He's good. I mean, unless they know something in his delivery, or if they see something that's legit, like, okay, this is about to blow up. You all don't know. We know. Fine. But don't do it just to take advantage of the system. No, he's good. I got the win last night against the Orioles. I mean, I know everyone's getting wins against Orioles nowadays, but
hey, at least the Brewers are. Just come on, we needed something. So.
Look, I mean, it takes them to right the ship. Look, a win's a win. It counts in the standings. That's good. But Henderson he's one of those that makes you feel better about the chances of the Brewers could, I mean, I guess right the ship a little bit if he can keep this going down the road. As, again, the injury situation across the board gets a little bit better, this is a good sign right here. He's off to a great start. Definite stock riser. Add him to your fantasy team, et cetera, et cetera.
I am going to go stock riser. How do I want to phrase this? Because it's going to sound kind of weird, but I'm trying to 31 teams in the NFL overall. The death of the Eagles is upon us, is what I'm trying to get at. Okay? You don't like the Eagles.
No.
I don't like the Eagles.
I really don't like the Eagles fans.
The death of the Philadelphia Eagles is upon us with the Tush Push ban coming. So we should all bask in the glory, whether you agree with it or not. The Eagles are done. Finished. Finito.
Stop with the whole...
They gave a contract extension to their coach who, how much does he actually do? Just, come on. How much? I mean, look at the coordinator, what he did. Like, I'm just saying, now you're going to take away their best play. Done. Finally.
Go Birds.
Done.
Gosh.
I just don't like the Eagles. They're probably on my top 5.
I was going to say, of your rivals at this point,
all division teams.
Of course. So that's the top 3. Now, are they automatically in, or does anyone move ahead of? Well, I suppose the Lions have moved up given their quality now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because if there was one that would fall down to like 4th or 5th, it was always the Lions. Well, now
you just felt bad, but you had to include them.
It's like a sympathy thing. Like, they're not really our rivals. I mean, come on, guys.
But you gotta include them. They're like, okay, little Jimmy, yes, you can play with us for
now.
Now I can't stand them. So let's put them. Cowboys, Eagles for me are my top 5.
So the Seahawks have fallen off.
Yeah, they're not relevant anymore.
Okay.
I think part of it is just because, first of all, Russell Wilson's not there. Pete Carroll's not there anymore.
That's
so
true. Yeah, they've evolved since then.
Fans gotten that.
Fans have a bit to do with it, and I don't really know any stupid Seahawks fans. Again, it's the Eagles. No. I still think I think 40% of anti-Eagles sentiment is the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more so than any team. I think you could make a pretty strong case. More people dislike the Eagles because of their fans, and it has nothing to do with the team at all. But those fans, not all of them, a lot of good fans, but the ratio of good fans to just total, I want to say something, I'm not sure I can say it on the radio without getting fined, fans is really high there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, stock fallers.
Well, the Milwaukee Brewers' opponents past few days and currently the Baltimore Orioles. Oof. This is ugly.
We've got three managers who have already been fired.
It's kind of a lot.
Baltimore. Yeah, what are we doing? Turning in the NHL, MLB? Come on. And then, of course, the Pirates. So
I mean,
I loved when the Pirates fired their manager a couple weeks ago, and talking about we expect better. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
No, you were gonna.
You got nobody else to blame but yourself.
You didn't spend. But a lot of this applies to, it applied to the Rockies, and it applies to the Orioles. They didn't spend in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's their players underperforming this year, kind of across the board. So it's a combination of not getting your pitching and that. Way underwhelming expectations. The owner is better than the prior one, the son of Peter Angelos. So Rubenstein comes in, but then he gets the bobblehead, and then this is all happening. By the way, if the Orioles were in first place right now and they had spent money, that would have been seen as probably maybe not a genius move, but have been like, oh, wow, and this owner, he's got his bobblehead. This is so cool. The problem with that is if you schedule one of those and it goes wrong, now it's an ultimate vain move. That in and of itself is not worthy of a stock faller thing, but that's it's a symbolic thing, shall we say. And they're out of it. I know it's still early enough. We've seen plenty of streaks. Hello, my favorite team has done a 180. So you see how baseball goes, and that's why I wouldn't rule out a lot for about any team. I mean, I know the talent's there on offense. I don't see the Orioles getting into the playoffs this year. And
oh, God, no.
Then where do they go from that after that? I mean, I know they got guys locked up. So that's, I guess, one of the good things. But they need to do some big makeovers at that team. I'm disappointed. I kind of like seeing them good again. And are they back to suckitude? Maybe so.
Suckitude. Word of the day. Suckitude. My stock faller, WNBA. The whole Angel Reese bad girl sort of thing is overplayed now. Just knock it off. It's annoying now. Last week with the whole Caitlin Clark, just stop it. It is clearly evident you are jealous of her. It is clearly evident that you don't like her, which is fine. I'm all about rivalries. I love rivalries. But this is just a little one-sided too much, and it just reeks of jealousy at this point. To me, it's not a good rival if there's one side that is it's just based purely off of jealousy. with it. That's what I get from the whole Angel Reese thing.
Mhm.
It's just, okay, fine. You know, they're last year in college together. Then it goes into the first year of the WNBA. What she did, you know, I agree with Caitlin Clark. It was a foul that anybody does, you know, it was a ball, and her reaction to it and such, where she had to be held back, and just stop now. Just stop playing the bad girl part. I mean, it was annoying.
And I think she's had more of a breakthrough in terms of like endorsements and such this year. Like you see her in the stores and the like cereal
McDonald's.
Right.
Had
Like
her own burger.
Like it's happening. Like there's a lot good there. The problem is we end up back in this. And yes, I know there's that whole other, as we call it, the elephant in the room, I guess. There's that. Set that aside. I think there's also some of what you just said there. There's a certain element of jealousy to this.
And here's the thing, too. It's like you're getting dominated on the court. I mean, it's kind of one side in terms of talent.
Yeah.
You know, team wise. So it's like maybe focus on actually winning the game. And you know, what's the best trash talking example? Scoreboard. You know, look at
the scoreboard.
Caitlin Clark still dominates you on the scoreboard.
Right.
So
I remember for a while we thought that Angel Reese could be drafted by the Wolves, and then they traded down and got out of position, and we're like, no, what are you doing? That would have been a great pick. And initially it kind of looked like that. I don't want to say bullet dodge because that makes it sound like that would have been a bad situation. I'm not sure that Angel Reese playing for the Lynx would have been bad. It might have been maybe would have been a better organization to go to. It's odd saying a Minnesota basketball organization is a really good one, but the Lynx are. But it feels like now that's pretty quiet. Like, okay, goes to the sky, and maybe she'll have a shot at some point, but it's just as well avoiding the drama. I like rooting for a drama-free team. Some of that applies to Clark too. I mean, I know she settles it down, but there's drama there. I mean, she hasn't 100% shut it down. She shut down a lot of it, but it's still kind of there. I'd just as soon have a favorite team that goes out and wins a lot, which is rare for my slate of favorite teams, and I'm glad one of them actually does that. And in retrospect, I'm glad I don't have to deal with the whole Angel Reese thing. And the WNBA, I'm guessing this is part of your point to this, that they're not exactly toning this down.
No.
Also, though, ratings were some of the best they've ever had for that game.
Yeah.
And there will be the next one on CBS in June.
And I understand why they're not toning it down, because that's what's drawing the ratings with this whole thing. I understand it. I completely, and that it's a business straight, and they need it. Let's be real, they need it. But just straight from a fan perspective, it's like, okay, enough now. Like if this was a rivalry where it's like, okay, they're really close games and battles back and forth and all that. All right, I like a little, but the fact that it's so one-sided in terms of results right now, okay. That's enough.
No, it's well,
and just the overreaction from her. I'm like, okay, come on. Like my question is, if that's somebody else that's not Caitlin Clark, is there the reaction?
Probably not. It's got to get evened out soon. And I hope this. And look, this is going to be the very easy thing to do because of all the. I was going to say bird magic. You get the white one from Indiana. Black one playing in the big city. You see where this goes here. But they were both good. And they weren't best buds. But they competed. Right. And then, yeah, you're right. It eventually changed. But that took time. It doesn't have to. Look, maybe Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark end up becoming close at some point. But that would be down the road if it ever happens. And maybe doesn't. I want to see those two battle it out.
I think they've got to use their powers together to continue to grow the game. Like Caitlin Clark has absolutely drawn, like, I understand there's egos and there's jealousies, you know, like, hey, like what she said last year, like, it's not just Caitlin Clark, it's all of us with, you know, the growth in that. I understand it. I understand you want to be a part of that too, but also I think, and it's hard, we've all been in a similar situation probably at different varying degrees. But it's like, okay, she's a big reason, though, too, why there is a growth of the game. We have to recognize that. I understand that you want to be more involved in that, and you think you should deserve some of the credit, too. I completely understand that, but let's face facts. Caitlin Clark's the biggest reason why there is that growth in the WNBA. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there. I don't agree with the style of play, you
Right.
know, with chucking up the threes and the transition threes and that. But WNBA needed it. They needed this.
They did.
So,
and they're overall in a good spot right now. Be wary of the drama. I think we were talking about this a year ago. Be wary of the drama, because if you could end up turning into an NBA type situation where it's like the league. I'm making an intentional overstatement.
Mm-hmm.
The league exists for the drama now, and they also play basketball. It's kind of a screwed up media culture and following culture in the NBA right now. The WNBA has elements of that, but not entirely.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that does not keep going in that direction, where all we talk about are who's going to play where, who's beefing with who, which analyst gets into a beef with which player. Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James.
That's the dumbest too. I hate that stuff.
Oh gosh.
Like,
any
why
of that.
are we at that? Like, why are we at that? We're media people who are supposed to be helping promote and beefing with one of the all-time. Just dumb.
That
I can't.
whole thing was stupid.
Stupid.
So I don't want any of them to do that. None of them. Like, again, I'll be with my folks. My only concern with the Lynx right now is Nafisa Collier may sign a free agent deal elsewhere when the salary cap goes skyrocketing really soon, as it should. They should be paid more money. There's a reason why they ended up creating another league that pays more than the WNBA, but it's going to change soon. I'll be fine in drama-free zone over here, but I don't want it to leach across the league.
Llama, baby drama.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Steve will answer your question. Actually, I'll ask it to Luke because I don't know this answer. It involves target field.
Okay.
So, that'll be coming up next.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
When it comes to firearms, ammo, and expert service, there's one name that you could trust in the Chippewa Valley, and that's Tilden Gun. Whether you're a seasoned hunter, a weekend shooter, or just getting started, Tilden Gun has what you need, from top brands and rifles, shotguns, and handguns to a full line of ammunition and accessories. They've got you covered. You're looking to buy, sell, or trade? Well, hey, Tilden Gun makes it easy with fair pricing and honest advice. And if you're in the market for your first-time firearm or just need some guidance, their knowledgeable staff is always ready to help. Located just outside of Chippewa Falls, it's worth the short drive to get real service from real people. Tilden Gun is where quality, trust, and experience come standard. So stop on in today and see the difference at 12427 98th Avenue in Chippewa Falls. That's 12427 98th Avenue in Chippewa Falls. Or visit them online at tildengun.com.
When you're in the business of building the future, why rely on yesterday's internet technology? 100% fiber internet from TDS is engineered to handle industrial strength demands with turbocharged symmetrical speeds and 99.9% network reliability. Get internet that keeps your business light years ahead. Upgrade to cable-crushing TDS fiber internet. Strong enough for your business, strong enough for you. Learn more at tdsbusiness.com. Internet speeds are up to and not guaranteed. Subject to availability. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Blanking on what to do for lunch or dinner? Don't stress about it. It's easy with Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. They have daily meal deals, fried chicken, Chinese food, pizza, chef specials, and a huge selection of easy take and bake meals that are made fresh in store daily. Plus, they even get the grills and smokers out so you could grab yourself some ribs, pulled pork, or half chickens. Making plans for your meals just got a whole lot easier and tastier with the help from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. I've got my dinner plans with Hy-Vee. Do you?
Football fans, the countdown is on. The rookies are ready, the matchups are heating up, and it's time to plan your game day. TickPick has you covered with no hidden fees and the lowest price guarantee. So whether you're heading to a rivalry game or just want a weekend experience, you'll pay less and get more. TickPick gives you all-in-one pricing and the lowest price guarantee. They're so confident, they back it up with their best price guarantee. Visit TickPick.com and score your seats before the best matchups are gone. $10 off your NFL order with code FS10 on the TickPick app.
Get Memorial Day appliance savings at the Home Depot with up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $450 off select appliances like Whirlpool that can keep up with your busy routine. Whether storing weeknight dinners or packing coolers for the next sports practice, the Home Depot has the Whirlpool refrigerator with storage and ice capacity for everything you need to keep up. Celebrate Memorial Day with savings on select appliances at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 15th through June 4th, U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Broadcasting live from the TDS Sports Talk 105.1 studios, it's the Dan Kasper Show.
Steve from Eau Claire with a quick text said, I had considered going to the Brewers-Twins game next month as well until I discovered a seat at Target Field in a similar area to where my son and I sat at AmFam Field during a game last August is about 2 to 3 times as much. Have the tickets there always been so much more than AmFam? Well, the reason I am sending this to you, Luke, I have not been to Target Field.
You got to change that, seriously.
Well, that's what I'm hoping, but I'm going to wait because I don't want to buy tickets. And it's like, oh, hey, right, sorry. Can't play.
To be fair, it's easy enough to do this because it's close enough. Like, I will usually do like the StubHub thing. Occasionally, like if I'm taking my wife over because I need to get handicapped, like we'll go through the team then. But even then, you can sometimes skirt your way around that. Or I have one of my Luther friends. He's got a pair of seats in the right center outfield. And they're right at like, well, you wouldn't know this because you haven't been to the stadium. But if you've been to Target Field, you know, there are some places where they're like 2 seats right next to each other. Does American Family Field, I've been there enough times, but I think they have something similar where you'll have like 2 seats.
Yep.
Right next to it's one of those. And he's got those as season tickets. And then
geez, that's pretty sweet.
I know. He'll go on Facebook and say, hey, anyone. And so I've done that like 2 or 3 times in my life. Great seats in the outfield. But then I'm always going through him. So I'm paying him like $20 or 30 or whatever it is. I can't say for sure, honestly, on the price just because I go those routes. And but I also will usually go for the less expensive seats because I'm like, if I'm in, I'm in, and the view is good. I have gotten some okay priced seats lower level. The 2 that occasions I can think of right now, this is like 12 years ago. I was not right behind home plate, but I was in the lower level behind home plate. Really nice seats. It was a gorgeous day. This was like peak Miguel Cabrera era Tigers.
Oh,
where you're
nice,
like, yeah. And I remember like, oh gosh, we're
like
not winning.
Triple Crown era one, or
it was 2013, I believe.
Okay,
trying to remember if that was a Triple Crown C.
Well, that would have been post Prince Fielder too, so that kind of
that was 2012, so it was a year after that. But this was at the point you're like, oh gosh, and I think they made the LCS that year, I think. Anyway, and then a few years ago saw the Yankees further down third baseline, but in the lower deck. Gorgeous seats, you can see the skyline, and I don't remember spending a lot of money on that. I don't know what route he's going to find tickets, but I'd recommend going secondary market or something like that is probably the best thing. I wouldn't be surprised though if the prices are higher because the
Twins are actually playing good.
Well, that's part of it too. Yeah.
So is there a spot? So like, I'll throw this out here. So part of the reason is Hudson has not been to a Brewer game yet. So I want to take him to a Brewer game because he's Mr. Baseball right now. Doesn't like the long drives. So it's like, hey, finally, it's a weekend series, Brewers and Twins. But then the better part of that, Saturday is a day game. So it's like, all right, this is just perfect. It's a quick drive over there.
Right.
It's a day game on Saturday. He gets to see his Brewers play. So we're planning on doing that. Is there a certain area of the stadium to not sit?
If it's a day game, I would say don't sit in the outfield because you're going to bake in the sun.
Okay.
I remember going to.
So when you say outfield, you're talking straight up behind left field, center field.
Yeah,
right
those seats where there's no
foul lines are good.
Yeah, they're fine. I mean, if you're more particular about baseball, and in Hudson's case, he's not. He's just not advanced to that point of like, well, the thing is that you'd have to go to a lot of games to even figure that out. The outfield, if it's a day game, you have all the sun coming down, but it depends on what the weather's like that day. Because I remember going to a Twins Brewers game there back in 2011, and my mom got heat exhaustion. It was like 83, straight sunshine coming down. That was not a good idea given her age, and even at that point, she was in her early 60s, but still was like, oh my gosh, straight on sun. But it depends on if you're good with that. If you're fine, if you're like bleacher bum type.
Yeah, he's not.
Well, then, okay. So that's probably the big thing. Also, there's going to be a little bit of obstructed view, like the seats I was talking about. You can't see the fence right below you. So if Jackson Churio is making an incredible catch in center right,
Or
you will
my guy,
right,
Sal Frelick,
right,
the best player in Major League Baseball right now.
Literally at this moment. You will find out thanks to the roar of the crowd and the video board.
That
even
reminds me of like when I was at the Brewers game 5 and we were above right field and it looked like Craig Counsell looked like he just nailed a liner in the gap. And it's like, nope, caught, didn't see it, just had to go with the reaction.
Yeah, so it's one of those kind of situations that's happened I think a few times from those seats that I've mentioned. That's going to apply to the trapezoid.
So I just went to StubHub to look this up. And what do they put for that Saturday game? Fast selling. Son of a gun.
But the thing is, the Brewers Twins tickets sell like crazy because you've got enough cross-border stuff. You got enough Wisconsinites in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities.
These prices have gone up since I last.
I'm not surprised by that. That's a rivalry thing. I know I sent that thing about what ESPN's ranking of rivalries, and they don't think too much of it.
Son of a gun.
But it sells really well. It's always full. Target Field has had low attendance this year, some of its lowest ever, and a lot of that was the early bad start and the bad Polad vibes, the bad feeling from last season. Be curious if the Twins keep playing well, if that starts going up now, or if people are still just like Polad sell the team. But if you want to go to another game, you could probably get pretty decent tickets. I think it's really, if it's Brewers Twins is the one that's going to push them up, and that's always going to be the case. Best seats are always the ones along the third base line because you get the skyline view. That's
why they're more expensive here.
Okay. But if you can get wherever, I mean, you go up to the upper deck, it's like baseball heaven to me. That's some of the best feelings. Like I settle in, I'm like, field right below me. I can see everything, even from the upper deck. I got the skyline up there, the sun setting. Maybe that won't be the case for the Brewers games, but that is such good baseball. I dream of that sort of stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I might have to get on the docket here and get some of these off StubHub before they're gone.
Yeah.
So
I think you're better bet with Hudson if you can't get to the Brewers. I know you want to get into a Brewers game first, but maybe if you want to get like the outdoor baseball experience, like, let's be real, that's what it is. I'd spring for a game where it's like Twins versus whomever. Just get in there, walk the concourse, because you can go 360 and see everything, the whole thing, plenty of views. There's baseball history, like the Met Stadium flagpoles there. There are all the statues, there's all the sorts of stuff there. I mean, there's always a chance he might come out of that going, hey, I kind of like this. I'm going to like the Twins. And I understand. But if you can make it a baseball thing, worth it, take him there.
Well, during the break, I'll show you what I'm looking at right now, and you tell me what you think of this view. I mean, they give you the picture, but it's like, okay, still, but you know what I mean. So yeah, all right. Well, I better get on the docket and get son of a gun. I thought, okay, Brewers kind of stink, but then the Twins started winning, and okay.
Well, and here's the thing. As far as I'm concerned, I think the Brewers have a good stretch in them. What are the dates of this again?
Next June. It's a month from now.
Okay.
Literally a month from today.
I think even before then, they're beyond playing one of the most decrepit teams right now. They've got more of a winning streak in them as well. Not to say they'll be in first place by then, but I think they will have stabilized more. So I'd be wary of waiting too long. I don't think the bottom's going to drop out on both teams by then. And even then, the rivalry is enough that's going to keep the prices afloat almost no matter what.
I think it's almost a Midwest nice rivalry is how I describe it.
I mean, in the past, it was pretty passionate. You have to go back really to when they were league rivals. And I know Bill Michaels has said, like, the Twins fans really rubs them the wrong way at American Family
I've
Field.
never had a problem with Twins fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with Brewers fans either. I think not being in the same league for a long time now, plus the Midwest nice thing. But let's be real.
It's Bucks and Timberwolves to me.
Kind of, yeah. Like, okay, quick question then. If the Timberwolves do end up winning the series, between them and the Pacers, who are probably one of the hottest current Bucks rivals, who would you rather win, a Timberwolves-Pacers?
Timberwolves.
You're preferring a Minnesota sports team.
No.
And there is a Wisconsin. That tells you something right there about the lack of a rivalry. The same kind of applies to baseball. Again, it was. I mean,
it's like if it's Twins Cubs in the World Series, who am I rooting for? Twins,
right? Because the Cubs are a hot rivalry right now.
Cardinals, Twins.
Right. Well, and the Twins and the Brewers never really had a chance to get a good rivalry going because so much of the time they were in the same league, they were bad. At the same time, if one was good, outside of 1987, that was really the only time that both kind of were good, probably would have made the playoffs in the same year. Again, you don't know the dynamics of wild cards and how does that affect what team decisions. That was it. Otherwise, if one was good, the other was putrid. And most times, both were putrid. So you really couldn't gen it up. It's kind of been the case with the Bucks and the Timberwolves, too. Usually they're bad, or if one's good, the other's.
It's like if I would go to a Twins game, but the Brewers weren't playing, but I'd go Twins Tigers. It'd be one of those games where I would just go. I'm not wearing I'm not going to wear a Brewers one. That bugs me when I go to a game and somebody's wearing a hat or a shirt of a team that isn't playing. I would just, hey, it's Packers Cowboys. Why does somebody have a Bengals jersey on? Unless it's Tim Crumry or something, But it's a Carson Palmer jersey. It's like what the hell?
It's right up there with Rob Lowe NFL. Like,
yeah.
Why?
So, I mean, if I were to go to a Twins game that wasn't the Brewers, I wouldn't be rooting for the Twins. I'd just go there to watch.
Yeah.
It's one of those
I
wouldn't be rooting for the other team to beat the Twins. It's just
you're ambivalent.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm here to watch a baseball game.
Right. Fair enough. So that's contributed to the lack of intensity in it. I mean, I guess it could change at some point if they both get good, if they both played each other in the World Series, which we've pondered that. I mean, lately, both teams have actually been relatively good at the same time where you went, maybe so. Short of that, though, no, I get it. I don't think it's as cool as national folks think where they just go, oh, well, they're next to each other. Come here. You'll see that it's more intense than that. But it's also not Mets, Yankees, or Yankees, Red Sox, or Dodgers, Giants.
And maybe it'd be different if I had a buddy of mine who was just this diehard, annoying Twins fan. Then it's a little bit more personal for me.
Yeah,
where it's like, shut up, dude.
Someone usually has rivalries often come because someone made it personal. Whether it's personal in a game, that's usually what it is. I remember I hated the Braves for the longest time. I'm ambivalent on them now, but it came out of the 91 series. But a lot of that had to do with the Braves fans at the time. Now, I was also an 8th grader, so.
Well, it's kind of like your Eagles right now, right?
Yeah, and that's today. And I don't hate the Eagles as much as I hated the Braves back then. Sports hate was a lot easier to come to as a teenager. You're just like, now I'm more like, I'm better perspective on life, but it's the Eagles fans. When they're doing the Skull chant mocking the Vikings, what was it, 2 years ago? I'm like, dude, you won. Stop. Get over it. What's your deal? At a certain point, you're like, are you really good people? You start to question stuff like that. And some of them probably aren't. I mean, we've seen plenty of stories. What was that with the Packers fan and where that Eagles fan was, and there was video of that, and then there was a bit of there was a counter. Don't do that stuff. Come on, it's sports.
Well,
really.
That's why it's I'm thinking, okay, if I go to a Brewers Twins game, I don't have to worry if I'm wearing a Brewers thing. Whereas it's like, oh, you go to Chicago for a Packers Bears game. It's like, I don't think I want to wear a Packer jersey down there.
We've heard stories. And I know Packers Vikings rivalry. We've heard stories that, and I wouldn't know this because I'm a Vikings fan, so I don't get the treatment. I've heard Vikings fans are worse to Packers fans than Packers fans are to Vikings fans. I've heard several anecdotes of the sort. based on the overall, I would kind of believe it, honestly.
I will say, when I was at the when Favre broke the touchdown record in the Metrodome, this is kudos to, even though it is a Trash Talk Wednesday. That was probably the coolest Vikings fan I sat next to. That guy was awesome. He was also Nostradamus. He's like, when you guys are done with Favre, can we have him? I mean, this guy was I have a picture of him on Facebook. Let me see if I can bring it up and show it, because my buddy took it. He was so cool.
And the thing is, the vast majority, both sides, are going to be good about it. I think you usually have to be like in a pack of your own, probably a little younger, and be kind of several beers into it, or be one of those, and this is where I think a lot of the Vikings ones are coming. So I'm making an assumption here. It's probably like the insurance types, the financial or whatever types that live out in like Chaska and Egan and such. And they're the ones that feel like super entitled, and they're the ones that are like, yeah, but those are the types of fans that can be that way in a lot of spots.
Jean shorts and everything.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Yeah. Shorts. I do
wearing
wear
a
jorts.
Jared Allen jersey too. Of course, you got to wear the jorts with
Very
that.
nice. So yeah, most of them are going to be fine. If you can get into those games, do it though. And I think I would rather, given your sports fandom and what you want from Hudson, though you never know exactly how anything's going to go with a kid. Probably for your sake, better to have him be a Brewers fan. But if he becomes a Twins fan, I mean,
he's diehard Brewers.
Okay, he's set, he's locked in. Okay, so he can't. He's
this
not going to.
This is what grinds my gears. His birthday is next month, and his favorite player for the last couple of years has been William Contreras. They don't make kids Contreras jerseys.
Why?
They make Garrett Mitchell ones. They make Reese Hoskins ones.
Now he can grow into that one. But
by that time, that Contreras probably gone.
No, I don't know.
And for anybody saying custom, I know I said this. They don't do custom kids ones.
Right. Why? Why?
Not even at the team store in Milwaukee.
Makes no sense.
So it's like, he can't even get his favorite player, and it's a good
to make
player.
up one.
So I feel bad.
It's like draw Contreras on the back.
Yeah, but
okay, well, send it. Do that. Get like a very.
Well,
cheap...
I tweeted at the Brewers. I tweeted at their teams, and I get no responses.
You should do one where you take a picture of him from the back with like a very cheap Brewers jersey, write Contreras on the back, and be like, "Can we fix this?" They might actually respond.
So
to
it's
that.
the Browns jersey sort of thing.
Basically, you got to go.
Because he's playing summer ball, he picked 24 because of Contreras. That's his number.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I can't get him a Contreras jersey. It stinks.
I mean, again, eventually he'll have his choices down the road. I mean, if he's a Contreras fan right now, he's a Contreras fan for life. When he's hosting this show in 30 years, the Hudson Kasper Show on Sports Talk 105.1, 790 AM, he's going to be telling the William Contreras stories just like you're telling Rocky 3 stories. It's going to be the same, the Rocky 4 stories. It's going to be the same thing, folks.
Maybe that's why I like Sal Frelick, because he's the Italian stallion and he looks like Rocky Balboa.
By the way, I saw Frank Stallone's second follow-up from Far From Over. He had another music video. He did some dancing in that video.
Oh, I thought you said I thought you were going to say he was coming out with some new work.
Look at that. One of our former colleagues did interview him on recently, so maybe you can arrange an interview.
Take it back. Do.
Maybe we'll see. Who knows?
Just get him on, and then be like, I'll just ask all Sly questions.
He's like, what's going on here?
All Sylvester questions.
Dude, I'm getting overlooked again. Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're Frank Stallone.
Yes, you are. So.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Grant here for Kai's Chevytown, just off of exit 41, the north side of Menominee, a short drive from anywhere. They put me in my Malibu last September. There was no pressure. There was no upselling. There was no, well, what about this? Or have you thought about that? They agreed this is the right car for you. Now let's work to make it happen. Now, if the right car for you is a 2025 Chevy Silverado, you've been thinking about upgrading and you've been putting it off, or you've been wondering when is the time? Well, the right time for you might be right now. They have 0.9% for 60 months on 2025 Silverados. So if you've been saving and scheming and thinking one of these days I want to get myself a new truck, well, the time might be right now. So go online, ChevyTownUSA.com, or give them a call. Ask them any questions you might have. 715-953-4722. Also a great time to replace your tires if that's something that you know you need to do or something that you've been putting off. They have buy 3 tires, get 1 for $1. You can schedule that service or any service you need done, again, on their website, ChevyTownUSA.com. Be wise, seek eyes for the best buys.
The power of Dell AI with Intel Inside is transforming the world of pro sports. Teams can see curveballs coming with predictive analytics. Coaches can use AI insights to help players improve their shots in real time. And fans can get more out of every winning moment with AI-enhanced replays.
Unbelievable! What a play!
See how Dell Technologies with Intel Inside can power your wins at Dell.com/win.
You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what? You're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Maaco can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. And right now, they got the spring specials going. Perfect time to get in. You get that free estimate. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Maaco does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. Go to Maaco.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. You're going to get a free estimate. You're going to love the community-based feel you get with Maaco. That's Maaco, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Maaco.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO and get an extra 5% off.
Voice Guy here, bumping into your programming to remind you to subscribe to the Man Cave Podcast. New episodes uploaded daily, and it's available on your favorite podcasting platform. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
All right, let's wrap it up here this morning with some picks. We got the NBA playoffs back at it. Your T-Wolves falling last night, up early first half, and then the Thunder kind of kicked it into gear here in the second half and clamped it down defensively. Picked up a 114-88 victory. So they take game 1, and then the Stanley Cup playoffs also picking back up last night too, where we had Florida picking up a 5-2 victory over the Carolina Hurricanes. Let's start off with some Stanley Cup picks tonight. Edmonton, the team you don't like.
Yes. It's nothing to do with the fans. I'm sure they're fine. It's not their fault that they root for a team that should be in Minnesota. But I'm going to pick the Oilers to win this game, and I'm going to pick the Oilers to win this series. I think we're getting pretty close to a rematch.
Okay.
I don't feel as confident about Edmonton winning this series as I do about Florida winning the other one. I do think at some point Carolina actually ends their streak of playoff game losses. That's getting absurd in the conference finals. But yeah, I got Edmonton tonight.
All right.
I could be wrong though. I don't feel great about it.
I'm going to pick Edmonton tonight too. So let's do NBA then. We got game 1. Spike Lee versus Reggie Miller. Who you got?
I'll take
Pacers have been braked for a while here. Are they going to be a little rusty?
They might be. I know Halliburton's on a heat check right now, but I'll take the Knicks.
I'm going to take the Knicks too. I'm going to take the Knicks. So let's do some baseball picks. First off, are we going to get any of the Twins games in today?
That's the pick. Will there be a game or not? Doesn't even matter if it's going to happen. Will there be a game? Let's see. What's the hour-by-hour forecast in the Twin Cities? Precipitation chances stay at like 80+% up to about 5 p.m. and then they gradually go down. Hey, by 1 a.m. it'll be down to 9%. So if they can wait to do some overnight basable, could get some games in kind of U.S. Bank Stadium March college baseball style. I don't think they're going to play today.
Wow. Pretty much a whole series then gets postponed.
Well, this was happening over in Cleveland, though, too. If you remember that, there was that one long rain delay where it rained for like 10 minutes. And then they had to put the tarp back on again. I think there was another rain delay after that. Like, it's the Twins and especially the Saints. The Saints keep running into rain delays in their AAA games. Like, there was one player they wanted to have come up, and they couldn't because he couldn't finish his rehab because the games kept getting postponed. And you're not going to have retractable roof stadiums in AAA baseball.
Right. Okay, so do you want to skip the Twins games then? Just assume they're not going to play.
Yeah, like I think they'll get, if they play, they'll get a win in one of the 3 or however many games they end up playing today. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Let's do Reds and Pirates then.
Oh boy, it's going to be the Reds in this one.
I'll go Reds too. We got Cubbies taking on the Marlins.
I'll take the Marlins.
I'm going to go Cubs. We'll go Astros and Rays.
My guy, Hunter Brown, because he's on my fantasy team. But he's good too, so I'll take him.
I'll go Astros too. We got Tigers, Cardinals.
I'll take the Tigres.
I'm going to go Cardinals in this one. We'll go Mariners and White Sox.
Mariners. If that game happens in Chicago, that might be a rainout. But if it happens, I think the Mariners get it.
You know where it's not going to be a rainout? Milwaukee. So
hey, no.
We got Kansas City versus San Francisco.
I will take Logan Webb's still doing pretty well. But I'll take the Royals in this one.
I'll go Giants. Braves, Nationals.
Braves go a little above 500, creeping up.
I'm gonna go Braves too. Mets, Red Sox.
Take the Sox in this one.
Garrett Grochette's on the mound. I'm gonna go with the Sox too. We got Rangers, Yankees. Jacob deGrom's going for the Rangers.
I'll go Texas.
I'm gonna go Texas too. This is a Prime Video game, by the way. Prime Video game. Prime. It is Prime.
It is a
video
Prime Video game. Yeah.
Game.
Both, all of those words apply.
Yeah. Padres, Blue Jays.
I'll go with the Pods.
Padres. We got Phillies and Rockies.
I mean, the default's always going to be to take whomever's playing the Rockies.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a bullpen game for the other ones. I will take the Phils.
Phillies. Angels, Athletics.
Let's go A's.
I'm going to go Angels. And then Diamondbacks with Corbin Burns going up against the Dodgers. Dodgers finally got a win, but it took extra innings last night.
Got off the schneid. Burns has been pitching pretty well, but I think the Dodgers make it 2 in a row.
I'll go Dodgers tonight too. And then finally, will the Brewers get a sweep?
I say no. But don't read anything into that. They still take the series and they're looking a little better.
I am gonna go. I hate this because they need a sweep, but they're not gonna get it today. I just don't trust the offense.
Yeah.
If the offense was a little bit more consistent, yes, I would pick a sweep, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
So that stinks. It is what it is, though. So, by the way, speaking of baseball, did you see the other day after, was it Sunday night or Monday morning or something like that? But the whole talk is Juan Soto miserable with the Mets.
Yes. Where he just chose.
Where, like, he was the happiest when he was talking with Aaron Boone and Aaron Judge and Chisholm over there. And it's like, he's just not happy. He's so down. And
the whole body language
Yeah.
thing. If you're going to make something of that, it does not look good.
Didn't talk to the media afterwards when he said he was going to talk. And
He was going to do the mic thing for Sunday Night Baseball.
Yep.
And then he said, nah, I don't want to do it.
Yep.
The other thing is it's very early in the contract. Let's let this whole thing play out. It's not like it's not like the NFL where guaranteed money's paid and he can be cut at the end of the season. He's going to be a Met for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Think the Mets are going to trade him anytime soon? For sure. To the Yankees? No. Baseball goes for a while. This season, next. I was pondering making Juan Soto my stock faller, and I think right now, acutely speaking, absolutely. But let's see what happens at the end of the year. Look, if the Mets win the World Series this year and Juan Soto's part of that, or maybe next year or the year after that, sometime in the first 3 years, or really at any point of the contract, if Soto's a major part of that, I don't think Juan Soto's suddenly going to regress to being an average baseball player, and he was one of the best in the league the past few years. Short of that, I think he's going to be fine, and he's going to be really good.
Does it say anything about perhaps the I don't know if culture is the word I want to use in this thing, but what the Mets culture, or is it just more Juan Soto just really enjoyed his time as a Yankee, and maybe he kind of underappreciated that a little bit?
I think it's the latter. The Mets organization seems to have very much stabilized in the post-Wilpon era, even with Steve Cohen being such a big spender and wanting to get a lot more involved. It doesn't feel like there's a bad vibe as much around the team. There's still a little bit of LOL Mets, but it's not like it was up until he bought the team. But I think he really liked those particular teammates in New York, most of whom are still, I guess I need to be specific, in the Bronx, most of whom are still on that team. And it didn't help that they're playing each other at this point early in the season with the Yankees playing as well as they are. Now the Mets are in second place. Now part of that's also the Phillies have been good of late, but the Mets have been scuffling too. Let's give this some more time, though. I guess I have the luxury of saying that because I'm not a Mets fan. I'm not in the New York media where you have to win every single day or you are a dud.
Right.
That's part of it, too. And you're playing in a spotlight. Heck, he could have stayed with the Yankees, and what if he was scuffling there? Even with Aaron Judge putting up, like, all-time baseball historic numbers, there'd probably be a fair amount of, but what's wrong with Soto if he had started off this way?
Concerned about your T-Wolves?
I think so, but only in the sense of, like, the Thunder are the better team, honestly. I know that they matched up well during the season, and I'm not giving up on the series. It's one game. Let's see what the adjustments are in a game 2. Now, if game 2 goes kind of the same way, that might be like last year with the Mavericks. Like, okay, they figured this out. This is not. They figured out the Wolves. It's not going to go the right way. But my concerns going in, as a lot of people had said, were 3-point shooting. If they miss, and you could say that about any team, but also some of the reserves. Naz Reid, DiVincenzo, Nikhil Alexander Walker. Sometimes they don't show up. And also a lot of turnovers. Those 3 things all happened last night. I'm watching the game like,
Was it 19 turnovers or something like that? Yeah.
Tons of turnovers. There goes DiVincenzo for 3. This is going to miss, right? Yep, missed. And all of that happened. And the Thunder figured out the Wolves as the game went along. That is a smart team. That is it's a fun team to watch. It only sucks if you're rooting against them because of the team.
So this just popped up. Owners are getting set to debate and vote on banning the tush push. Eagles are pulling out the big guns right now. They just brought in Jason Kelsey to try to convince the owners. I'm not kidding. Not kidding.
Oh, really?
Tom Pelissero owner Jeffrey Lurie just entered the room with Jason Kelsey.
Because that's going to convince him. I was like, okay, who are they bringing in, like, a former president? Or are they bringing in, like, a combination of Tom Brady and Joe Montana?
Wasn't it Jason Kelsey, though, that said a few years ago when they do the tush push, he always, like, cusses because he knows he's just going to get banged, like, just knocked. Like, he's going to get hit hard. Like, he always cusses during that thing because he's just, like, he knows he's going to get walloped.
So wouldn't that be the counter? Like,
right, exactly. Like, I hope there's an owner saying, okay, but, hey, didn't you say this?
You what? It's going to get banned. They wouldn't be doing this right now if they thought they had a good. It's going to be banned.
Yep.
So ultimately, your thumbs up, thumbs down on this.
Is this like the Chuck Norris from Dodgeball, where they got to allow the average Joes to play again? You got the judges. Got 1 thumbs up. You got one thumbs down, and then Chuck Norris is the deciding judge here. So thumbs up, ban it. Thumbs down, don't ban it, or
thumbs up. Yes, this is good that they're banning it. Thumbs down. This is lame. What they're going to do.
So my vote would be, as an owner of the Green Bay Pack. Well, we know what Green Bay's voting for, but I vote to ban it.
Okay. Homer.
Yeah. Sue me.
Going with your team.
Sue me.
Yeah. Well,
and then, as Rocky says in Rocky 5, sue me for what? So.
Wow, you actually pulled out a Rocky 5 reference.
Yeah. All right. DP Dan, are up next. Have a good Wednesday. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. Same place, same time.
You're listening to the Dan Patrick Show on WAYY Eau Claire.